I don't know if we wanted to put a poll up there, Joe,
right,
but
I'm just saying that there's a quick fix to the scenario. It's either you like it or you don't. Yes or no.
I'm seeing mixed reviews a little bit there, Katina. Some people liking it, some people not.
Salvador, high vibrations.
I kind of expected that, to be quite honest with you. I mean,
I'd be down with a poll, but we'll figure that out. Maybe we're back at 1 o'clock either way. So you guys enjoy 2 hours with the real guys over here. Neil and I will be back at 1 p.m.
Yes.
All right, let's enjoy our lunch. We're going to get some Mongolian stir fry, not pie.
It sounds good, at least.
I think it'll be good. Over to the midday show.
There you go.
Are we changing the chat assassino or no? Boom! I feel like anticlimactic doing that. I was just on. Now I'm yelling boom, bang. Welcome to the midday show, guys. That's the same guy you saw 5 minutes ago. His name's Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And I'm going to have to switch the streams, Joey,
where
because
is it at,
I was told that, it's going to be a different stream over here by Ram. Shout out to Rim. What's that, Ram?
Whoa.
She wants to fight me?
She said find it.
I'll
find
fight.
it. Ooh.
No problem. She wants to put eyelashes on her truck, bro.
I know.
I mean, like, what's got to do?
Never likes it.
Oh, that's great. I think it's hideous. Let's shout out everybody. Omar, Jason, Saga Escapes, and Steve M. Shout out to Org. And Mike P. D. Ryder. We got High Vibrations. And we got Alexis Trades and Brown Lightning. Sorry, Johnny Fishbone. Shout out to L. Martin. We got Dave B. and Dexter Smith. Shout out to 420 Bud Monster joining us from across the pond. Shout out to Hangry Wife. Sup? Right back at you. Who else, man? We got Bax, Ichiro. Very insightful guy. Make sure to look at what Ichiro is saying. Very insightful person. Shout out to Derek Chomson, Atif, Tabat. We got Jose Gonzalez, and why not? Shout out to Jaguar Nut as well. Hope everybody's having a great morning, guys. It's been a really interesting one today in small cap gapper world. We were all over a couple of names today. Let's get right to them. It's the PRAX show. As I mentioned, Joey, this is the first time on the day PRAX lost the 10 EMA on the 5. Ironically enough, it came back into that 182 level. I wasn't looking for that level. I was looking more for 180. It's putting a bit of a hammer candle now. Still, though, south of the 10 EMA, it's up 229% and of very great interest to me. So is IONZ. Shout out to my Americans there. Otherwise, I would have said Z. 325 high. Bull flag continuation, the way I see it, holds VWAP like a glove into that 304 area, and there it is back into the day high. I'm looking at weaseling into this one. Last but not least, before we see what Joey Options has to offer, I'm looking also at BTQ. I executed on this one on the breakout. It's the first time it's coming into the 10 EMA since basically this candle over here at 1025. I want to see what this one does in and around 13. Obviously, psychological support is that whole dollar level, but the 10 EMA about 20 pennies south of there, looking to bounce off that level. So I'm looking at both these, Joey.
Yep.
And if you guys have any new small cap gappers, of course, I'm very interested to see what you guys are talking about. So make sure to tag Joseph and I in the chat, and we'll get right to you guys.
Absolutely, guys. All right, happy Thursday. Who do we got? I got the Leafs playing tonight, I believe. I'm not too. Oh, the Rangers. The Rangers. So yeah, we'll check that out.
The Jays too, bro.
The Jays tonight as well too. Yeah, the Jays as well. So a monster game from them. So that's going to be exciting. But most importantly, what's going on in this market? We had that trade on TSM that worked out. We did get stopped out of a little bit, and now it's just range trading. So if you can catch the lower end and the top end, that's $1.50 right there. Bang, we'll hit that one. Bang. Even though we haven't even done that. But also, Bitcoin's starting to come in. Sean and I were talking about, all of us were talking about this. Excuse me. Bouncing off those lows. I don't know why I always want to start talking. I get the hiccups around here, but that's all right. So a lot of buying pressure you can see on these wicks. So I'm looking for this trend to continue. There's another way that we can look at this, is that we're forming that downtrend. In all honesty, I think it's only a matter of time, whether it be a couple days, a week, at some point we might break through this. And that's what I'm game planning for, all right, is that we punch through those support levels, and then after that, I always say you don't want to grab everything all at once. It's a contract here, it's a contract there, it's a couple contracts contracts there. It's a couple hundred shares there, and that's exactly what I'm looking to do, and just try to put on a solid position for a bounce, and then maybe a move back into that previous all-time high. And I was thinking, hey, we're going to see 130, 140 on Bitcoin with the previous move, but that has not been the case, especially with the government shutdown still looming. So, I mean, it's a tougher look. We had mass amounts of liquidations, but before that, we still had crazy amounts of inflows. I think it was record inflows into IBIT and some of these other crypto ETFs, but sure enough, that has started to phase down a little bit. But there goes TSM grinding higher now, Sharif. The volume on the lower time frames is starting to kick in. We're at 305.17, not too bad of a look on TSM.
That's hilarious, Grant. I don't look like that guy, man. He's taller and skinnier just because he's got a stash. Was watching the Jays game last night and thought I saw you pitching for the Mariners. Come on, bro. Kirby, you think so, man? I don't know, bro. Is George Kirby your long-lost son? I don't know, brother. I don't think I resemble him. Apparently, he had 2 really good outs against the Yanks, and he got his ass handed to him yesterday, Joey.
He got lit up, man.
He got absolutely lit up, and I couldn't be more happy because the Jays' backs needed to wake up. You need that confidence boost. It's like getting shut down 2 days in a row. You need to come in that third day, smash a banger, you know, run.
Get the confidence up. Yeah,
and I couldn't be more happy about that whole thing. It looked finally like the Jays were in their element, and it doesn't hurt as well. That maybe like 10-15% of the crowd were Jays fans.
Look how well they try. It's Vancouver, right?
That's exactly it. It's Canada's team, right?
Yeah,
wherever they go.
Yeah, exactly. So my cousins live in West Van, and they're massive Jays fans. So a couple of my cousins there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were traveling. They're playing ball and everything along those lines. So yeah, I mean, let's go Blue Jays. They're in tough. What's the catcher's name on Seattle? Raleigh. Raleigh. He's nasty. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got the hockey legs. He's got the.
Is that what they call him? That's sick.
He's got
big
the
dumper.
He's got the hockey legs, Katina, man. Yeah, so not too
Which
bad.
one was the one with like the 1,000-mile stare, like the first
picture? You got
picture?
cut off, brother.
No idea, but there goes TSM. Wow, that 303, the consolidation in a bounce up to 306.18. A really nice move over there, guys. Hesitation nation on this one to get back in. If it worked once, it's probably going to work again. And there it goes. That would have been $3, but that's what if history, guys, and we do not play that whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, the market's choppy. We've been in the first hour of the day. Consolidate. Yeah, that guy. I don't think he looks like Sharif that much, to be honest with you. This guy, like at a hole.
What is happening there? I don't look like this guy. But.
Yeah, I think that's Kirby.
He's a good pitcher from what I've seen. He's lanky as hell,
he does not look like he's lanky.
You got to see these pitchers, bro. They're teaching them to end up down the mount so that the release point is like 3 feet.
It's crazy.
So that you're actually pitching from a lot closer because the release point is so much closer to the batter. So there's a decided advantage now, and there always has been mechanically, but now obviously
have you
being taller.
Have you ever been to a batting cage?
Yeah, but it's been a hot minute.
A while, yeah. It's not. I want to go to the batting cage. Me and my cousin
want to smash a batting cage soon, especially with all the playoff.
Exactly.
But I want to talk about this, Joey. So BTQ, we were involved in this one early. It comes back in. It tests the 10 EMA on the 5, and now it's rocketing back up. But I've been lured into these before, where you find support off a technical level, case in point the 10 EMA, but they're still making lower highs. So I've learned my lesson on this one. I'm going to insist on a higher high. So what's the level I'm looking at? I'm looking at that 50 penny level. Take a look at this topping tail candle here at the 1 that rejected 50 pennies. So if we can get another maybe 12, 13 pennies, make a new high, then I'll get back in. Obviously, that means I get a worse price, but I'm okay with that. If it means, having better accuracy on the trade. Just before we go to Adara, I also want to mention ELWS. Multiple halter. It's halted at the high of the day, 663. Weirdly, though, it's showing me a tap of the exact same price as the one we halted at. Now, typically, we see that with NYSE and Amex stocks because you don't see the tap while they're halted. Usually you don't see the exact same price, but that's what we're seeing right now on ELWS. I'm looking at setting up into this one. Adara.
Apple on watch, guys. AAPL reportedly entering the robotics market. Again, I'm seeing reports here they're expanding their smart home production in Vietnam with BYD. They're going to be making devices like a HomePod style display. This coming, I guess, this is just an analyst note here from Morgan Stanley saying that this move will bring AI into the physical world and puts Apple in a good position competitively to compete in the robotic space. Just a Morgan Stanley note here on reports about Apple moving into robotics. And back to you.
Really interesting because I saw a bit of a markup. It was obviously you know, an artist rendition because we don't really know what Apple's going to do until they release a product. But it's like this screen with a pole tied to a circular base, and the screen kind of moves around and follows you around the room, so it sees what you see, hears what you hear, and it can kind of interact with you. Kind of terrifying, not gonna lie, but as long as it makes money and the price of Apple goes up, there goes ELWS, Katina man, into 725. That is the high of the day. It's a multiple halter. It's clearing 7, Joey, but not that decisively. Up 92%, looking at clearing that triple-digit territory. We're gonna be all eyes here on ELWS.
Beautiful stuff. All right, guys, there we are. You can see, position board is not currently up, but we're waiting in this IBIT now. We're in a position. Now it's starting to grind a little bit higher, so a solid entry there. And we're just waiting. After this pullback, guys, you've seen that we had some indecision and consolidation, and I'm looking for the continuation to the top side. If the market wants to grind higher, let's see if we can get to the top end of the range. Once again on Bitcoin, what range am I specifically talking about, Joe? All right, well, let's display it right now. We drew the trend line before, so if we get up here, then we're going to be rocking and a rolling, and if we break that, best believe we're going to add to that position. Even if we get a pullback at VWAP, we see the signs of strength, and the volume starts to pick up on the 5-minute time frame. You can see that we're starting to stair step down, which isn't a positive sign for the buyers. But if it starts to kick in, I like our chances for a potential bounce off of those key support levels that we were talking about earlier in the session. Now, I mean, what I have on here was roughly around half the size that I had on both of these positions, so I am going to be looking to add substantially. Now, as for the top performing sectors, let's take a look at that because we have not today. And honestly, I don't want to lean too bearish, but I just have that kind of mentality right now, considering.
I heard you yesterday. You were quite bearish in your analysis on the triple Qs.
Yeah, absolutely. We got the short on the SPY, which was really nice. And one thing to note is that, Shreve, over the past couple of sessions, I don't know if you've noticed, but around that 2:30, 3 o'clock hour is when we start to get those flushes in the market. Yeah. And usually, I find in my earlier days of trading, I've observed that. So yeah, it's good to see that come in. But I mean, you don't want to stand, you want to try not to hold too heavy of a bias, even though I'm sitting here talking about it, because if this market continues to grind higher, you don't want to be continuously trying to short things, all right? So at the top, and here it is. Like, I mean, the Nasdaq is up 23% on the year. That's insane. We have the technology sector up almost 1% today. The healthcare sector is up 0.6. We have the real estate sector up 0.4. Consumer staples up 0.4 as well too. And the bottom three, energy, we're up about a fifth there. Communications a 10th, and then the industrials a little bit less. But we only have one red sector on the day, Shereen, and that's going to be the financials. And after a lot of the big boys have reported, we're starting to see a little bit, the whole sector in general, start to come back in. But I think that it's positive for me. It's buy. Any of these strong names, whether it be financials, the tech sector, quantum space, the nuclear sector, if they start to sell and some are fortunate enough to get that 5%, 10% pullback, guess who's going to be a buyer?
Who?
I am.
Okay.
Adara. Are you?
I mean, I'll talk about PayPal because I don't know what happened there. But PYPL on watch here, pushing a little bit lower. Now, we know earlier there were some concerns here with their crypto partner accidentally minting $3 trillion worth of stablecoins. But right now, we're going to talk about this new catalyst, Coinbase, announcing they have a powerful suite of business tools, business payment tools on Coinbase Business. Looks like this is viewed as competition for PYPL, which is pushing lower again. Looks like PayPal is pushing lower as Coinbase announces a new suite of business payment tools on Coinbase Business. Back to you.
Great question, Gregory. So in my swing account, I'm 100% cash. 100% cash right now, and in my long term, 5% cap.
You're holding 100%, eh?
Yeah, my one account, I have nothing on.
Why don't you put it in some shorter dated treasuries? Get like, 3-4%.
It's my swing account. It's the one I mess
the
around.
swing? Oh,
yeah. No,
yeah.
my long term, I'm 5%.
Yeah, you're holding.
5%. I've just got a little.
Oh, that's like nothing.
Nothing, right?
Nice.
And that's just from my Robinhood trim at 122.
I gotcha.
Where I just literally left in what I invested, and then I took the rest out for profit. So
good, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Just managing it. Yeah, exactly. And looking to buy, I'll probably buy some more Bitcoin with it. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
not?
So I mean.
Joey, I want to let everybody know ELWS, it giveth, Joey, but it taketh away quite quickly. And that is the nature of these small cap gappers. And I will not stop saying, trade them carefully for exactly this reason. And that's the bad news. We're halted down, sure. Good news, if there's any, you're holding a previous area of resistance, that $6 level. In addition, it's the whole dollar level. In addition, you're still above the 10 EMA on the 5, and you're still above VWAP. They're very close together, the 10 EMA and VWAP. So I'm still interested. Obviously, I'm not going to be punching it in blindly here, while it's halted down. But I'm interested to see how this one trades when it is open. Let's take a gander here at the top. The theoretical auction price showing 582. That's a no good because we halted at 612. So we're already slated, at least for now, to open up lower. So what time did we halt? 11/12/29. It is 16. The earliest we will open is 11/17/29. Obviously these halt levels are 5 minutes, 5-minute increments. So let's see what this one does separately. I'm still looking here at IONZ. Just printed that high today of 330. I'm going to be an interested buyer at 320. Couple of reasons for that. One, it's a price action resistance area initially. Number two, currently it is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So we're getting a current higher low on this 5-minute candle relative to the prior candle. So I don't want to punch in yet. I want to wait to see, does this candle make a higher high? If it is, then I could get in a different way. All right, we have to digress. ELWS is open. It's holding VWAP. It's holding the 10 EMA, but it's below 6. Does it weasel its way back above 6? A little zig, a little zag. It looks like basically right now there is an equilibrium between buyers and sellers. It's still south of 6 though. There goes 6, Joey, up into 605, 610. Let's see how this cookie crumbles, up 64%.
All right, nice. Good look there, guys. Bitcoin starting to come back in, holding 6260. Let's see if there's going to be a reload opportunity. I'm not in love with it. Full disclosure, guys, I'm not in love with this potential trade, as I mentioned. Slightly bearish on the crypto space right now. And I put a post on X a while ago, just before the government shutdown, and I'm like, something smells really, really fishy here. Are we going to kind of experience that 10-15% pullback? And I mean, if we talk about the likes of Bitcoin trading all the way up to 126,000, let's actually find that all-time high on it right now, so we're just not speculating on the prices. And we'll go back and we'll find that previous all-time high. I mean, it's my dot display right here. So 126, right? So where we're currently trading at, down 12%. I mean, a little bit less than that. But if we crack through this and we hit in those 20% realm, which I think we have the potential to do, just above 100,000, then I think a lot of us across the board are buyers of this, right? Gaurav, you're long Amazon. Nice, Gaurav. I really like that. I talked about potential swings on Amazon. Haven't pulled anything. You know what? I'm so content with just being patient, and I would be more mad at myself for taking a trade and being like, oh, this isn't for, in my opinion, the current market sentiment in order for me to do so, and then put the trade on and then take a substantial loss that I'm not necessarily looking to do. But again, to make money, you got to risk money. Fortune favors the bold. And you got to put on the trades. Adair, what do you got?
Yeah, keep an eye here in Peloton. It's worth noting this news story actually kind of alluded to as early as last week. But either way, Peloton, I'm seeing here, set to be, their app here set to be integrated into ChatGPT later this year. Again, they were part of that ChatGPT event last week, so this is not necessarily new information. But PTON pushing higher here again. Their app set to be integrated into ChatGPT later this year. Back to you.
Okay, whatever.
All right, ELWS, as quickly, like we talked about this, as quickly as it taketh, it giveth, and as quickly as it giveth, it taketh. So make sure you're falling on the wrong side of that, on the right side of that, I should say. A lot easier said than done, though, SSE. Look at this, bro. I'm like gasping for air. Like, you know, I just walked like a couple of feet and I'm gasping for air.
Dude, when I was feeling like you are, and I went in the steam room, I could hardly breathe, man.
I thought you were gonna say it got a lot better.
No, obviously, no.
Later after?
But it's still hard because your lungs are congested. You got mucus in them and stuff in your body. And when I went in there, it was just physically hard to breathe. It may clear up your sinuses here,
which is good,
right? But everything else, it was just like it was difficult to breathe. I was like,
I was getting gassed walking from my bed to the kitchen, bro.
Man.
I'd be like, like, you know what I mean? Like I try to think that I'm like some athlete, and all of a sudden you're nobody. Right?
Get this guy the O2 mask.
It was actually quite difficult the last couple of days, guys. But all right, here it is. We're watching ELWS. Look, we won't be able to punch into this. It doesn't seem to be available on our system, which is fine. We're going to keep talking about it for you, though, because it's got a 725 high, and it's got higher lows and higher highs. And it's definitely looking at number one, taking 7 again, and here we go. Here's mid-80s. Let's see if we can get 90s. And then ultimately, of course, we're looking for that 725 break and take. On our way, I think Tisha was saying something like 9 and change. Let me go see what Tisha has to say. 951, Tisha says. Room to 951 off the daily. Shout out to Tisha Perkins. Let's keep an eye out on this one. But this one we can execute on here. IONZ. This one is accumulating for a 330 break. It's got an ascending wedge pattern. So let's go ahead and punch. Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Another one?
I'm really rich.
Seriously, bro? All right,
no
can't get into yeah. All good. We'll keep an eye out on this one as well. And last but not least, BTQ. This one feels like it is losing the bid though. So it's got a descending wedge. We were talking about an ascending wedge. This one feels like it's got lower high, lower high, lower high. Yes, one more lower high. All the while, it has been finding support at 1280. Now, that 1280 is not a level out of nowhere. In fact, it was acting as resistance. Look at this bull flag pattern into 1280, and then that's where I got in initially on the move into 60, and then we got up all the way into 1350. But that 1280 level, if it goes, this could definitely send this at least at 1250, if not more. We're going to keep an eye out on that one, see what the situation is. But those are the small caps that I've got going on, guys. But as I always say, and as Joseph always says, you know, if there's something out there we don't see, let us know exactly what it is so we can have a look at it for you. And I just did a quick scan there, Joey, of the old scanner, and I'm seeing a new small cap gap. Or is it small cap? Yeah, $191 million market cap. Quadruple C. I happen, of course, like the letter C, but this one is 4 C's right there. I know, delusional, right?
Triple C.
I was about to cough again. I do apologize.
Want me to take it?
No, we're good. We're good, Joey. So what I'm looking for here is a continuation off the 10 EMA and a move into 3. It's got 21.17% under its belt. Does it have a headline? It does. Here it is. C4 Therapeutics. Proceeds expected to fund, so they raised money, expected to fund the next phase of this obvious melanoma development, including registrational phase 2 trial in combination with dexamethasone, I know about that one, and phase 1B trial in combination with one I don't know. So we're going to keep an eye out here on Quadruple C. We'll see if this one's got the juice to let the longs loose. There.
I want to talk here about U.S. President Donald Trump. He just posted on Truth Social, quote, "I am speaking to President Putin now. The conversation is ongoing, a lengthy one, and I will report the contents, as will President Putin at its conclusion. Thank you for your attention to this matter." So just so you guys know, Trump speaking to Putin. This was reported earlier and then confirmed a little bit after that by the White House, but Trump now confirming it himself on Truth. They were talking ahead of Trump's meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky, leader of Ukraine. Back to you.
Thank you.
I know.
All right, there it goes. Joey, BTQ is losing the bid. We talked about the flat bottom break possibly through 1280, and here comes the blood. The red candles dripping down into the volume weighted average price. This is VWAP now. So this is the former area of resistance now looking to be support. I'm talking about 1260. Let's see if it can continue to drop down a little bit more, catching a little bit of a bid here off the volume weighted average price quickly back into the 80s. But is it, as my friend Neil likes to say, a dead cat bounce? We're gonna need, personally, I'm gonna need to see higher highs. in order to get involved. I don't want to catch a falling knife on BTQ. I had a good trade on it to the upside. I don't want to try to catch it as a long while it's on the way to the downside. So I'm going to kind of insist that this one starts showing me newer highs on the 5. Otherwise, I don't get involved. Joey, what do you got?
Absolutely, man. Oh, Shreve, you know what I got over here, man. We got 3 rules for beginners options traders right there. So go and check your boys' YouTube short out there, man. How can you deny that smile? Obviously, just being sarcastic, but go check it out. There's individuals in the chat who are asking. Oh, hit the, all right, anytime. Anything for any. there it is, man. No, I'm serious. No, go check it out there. Shreve, he's all right, man. He's doing okay. Bitcoin's starting to sell. There you go. No, I'm blushing and slightly red. But in all seriousness, we had some good questions. Gorev, I see nothing right now. I was talking about the potential sell in Amazon breaking through that double top. Now you're cracking through some of these lows. This Bitcoin is breaking through some of my support levels, so we're not going to hold on to this for much longer. But let's see if we can get a bounce. Market slightly choppy here on today's session. Shout out to Katina, man, for finding that strong, that nice long there on MU. As Kramer likes to say, there's a bull market somewhere, so you just got to be able to find it. I think that's a really, really big skill. So shout out to Katina for that. Now, as for my guy Peter, who's been asking very kindly about some options activity, I'm not sure, but basics of call and put walls, my understanding is that the European options differ a bit from U.S. options. What do you look for when price of stock moving severely like today? Yeah, they do. There's some exercise and assignment rules in the European options that are slightly different. Do I remember exactly all of them? No, I do not, but I can definitely touch up on them. I've read up on it, but there is some slight difference. Now, as for call and put walls, it's pretty basic. So when you have your options chain up, you want to look for high levels of open interest. And what we would like to classify as a call wall is the highest level of open interest on that specific name. Now let's pull up the SPY, and the exact same for puts. Now, how do we implement this and how do we put this within our trades? Well, essentially what you want to see is how the stock reacts around those specific levels. Now, in this instance, we have 670 on the SPY. What was our high of the day today? 668.71. So not quite to that level, but you're starting to see the rejection. So I would look to see how price is reacting around that specific level. All right, guys, I'm all out of this IBIT trade as it's tanking. I talked about being slightly bearish in the space. We were looking for the long, and it wasn't working as we cracked through some key support levels. So we'll get out of that one, take a hit there. But back to what I was getting at is you can see that this is the highest amount of volume on a specific strike and also the highest level of open interest. Now the market is tanking south of those levels. You want to look for those rejections on those high level of OI and volume. Same thing on the put side. You want to look for things that you potentially bounce to the top side on, and that's what you're looking for. You go down your chain, the highest amount of volume and the highest amount of open interest, you look for those levels to bounce. Now, as for the earnings report, that can also indicate a lot. You might get the magnet effect into those levels and then the heavy rejections of them. So that's exactly what I'm specifically looking for. We have Ozan looking at them as well too. Pug Life I haven't seen in a while, and some other individuals who are always trading options, they like to identify these call and put walls there, Sharif.
All right, guys, we're dealing with ELWS. We have the 7 long in the 7.5. It's having trouble with 7.5, despite, of course, the fact that the high of the day is 762. I feel like it's only a matter of time until that 7.5 gets cleared. Here we go again. There it is, Joey, 780 now. Here we go, 783. We are on the way, it feels like, to 8. If not, that 951 that Tisha Perkins, shout out to her, has been talking about in the chat. But here's a halt parameter, 783. We need another 5 seconds in this parameter. We will gray out on the level 2, and it will be a halt. And now. Oh, there, close. 783, halt level, having halted exactly at 11:29:30. So this one will be the earliest it will be open, 11:34:30. So yeah, do whatever you need to do there, set your timer or whatever. And we're going to be looking at this one clearly. The top rocketing up, at least initially, 828, 830, showing right now during the halt. Very strong. It's not the strongest one on the day. That still belongs to PRAX, but ELWS really working its way up quite well. The OG Bovin telling me CTRX moving up, as evidenced by the multiple Ps he put in that message. So let's look CTXR. CTXR. Shout out to you, Bovin, because I know you were waiting for this one. You know how I felt about that one south of VWAP. But yeah, you did call this one out to me, I think around 755, 750. Here it is. Sorry, 155, 150. Now it's at 170 with the local area high there into 172. Look, this doesn't fail my rule because technically that 930 pop, that 194, that's an official high of the day, right? That's not a pre-market high. But I don't like this because as quickly as it gained is as quickly as it lost. And, you know, it's trying to fight above VWAP right now. I'm going to keep it up on the side chart, Bovin. There's no doubt about that. So let's go ahead and put CTXR there. And we're going to keep an eye out on that one. If it continues to trend above the volume-weighted average price, we'll certainly have a look at it a little bit more thoroughly. Adair.
We will look at Bitcoin, I promise, but I want to start here by taking you guys through some catalysts for equities in the crypto space. I'm going to start here by talking about Coinbase. Here is our friend Brian Armstrong, and this is Coinbase. This is an older infographic you can find on X at TTV Research, but I bring them up because they just announced here within like the last 15, 20 minutes that they are launching global payouts and payment links here for their business platform, which is Coinbase Business, very aptly named, I suppose. That's going to be allowing firms to send and receive USDC stablecoin without any gas fees on Base. Now, that news sent another payment name here, PayPal, to the downside, but PayPal has its own crypto catalyst. Now, I'm sure we'll maybe get into this one on the news segment later, but basically, long story short, PayPal's blockchain partner, a company by the name of Paxos, accidentally minted $300 trillion worth of PayPal stablecoin, PYUSD, on Wednesday. The company called it a technical error. They were able to correct the situation within 20 minutes, but very rough day, I guess, for PYPL specifically in terms of crypto. Let's take a look here at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, again, continuing to kind of waffle around that $108,000 level. On BTC, continuing to serve as support. Let's see if it can continue to hold. Ethereum making slightly lower highs here on the daily, but a little bit, I guess, removed from lower lows as of right now. BTC, though, 108,000, absolutely on watch as we send you back to the Bash Brothers. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right, guys.
Yes! No!
Smash the glass.
Stop.
Smash the glass,
Stop.
Joey.
Stop. Fabian. No! It's supposed to be, I need to be faded into that. This is what I asked for, Fabian. I need the code. So anytime, because you know how Adara has her trumpet? Right, Adara comes in, and then watch it. Turn the screen black real quick there, Assassino. Bang, now hit it now, Fabian. Come on, now bang, now bring me in. You see how I'm getting out there?
I love your energy, dog. I love your energy,
That's
bro.
That's what I was looking for,
sick
man.
energy,
That's
man.
what we wanted to. We needed that for all of those who know what it is.
Who can hate on Steve Austin,
No,
bro?
man, you can't. The rattlesnake, man.
Fantastic.
The rattlesnake, baby. We love that. No, that's what I was asking.
Fabian's coming in hot.
In my defense, it wasn't in the notes.
No, it wasn't in the notes. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair, man. Yeah, that was sick, man. I'm glad all you guys are loving it. Yeah, that was sick. We love the rattle. Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah. Steve Austin, dog, bro. Just comes in, he's like waddling, he's angry, he's cussing, right? He's side to side.
Couple beers here and there. Yeah, man. Good
funny.
time, man.
Guys, PRAX is losing it in an absolute hurry over here. It just gave up 180. Look at these wicking candles. These were all candles of indecision. I didn't know which way the cookie was going to crumble here because, well, we're well above VWAP, we're trending up, and then we have these buy candles, right? Well, I don't want to say buy candles, indecision candles with lower wicks as well as upper wicks, but look at the speed with which we're losing 180. We were just moments ago, we were at 185. Now we're down into 172. So we could be destined here for a VWAP retracement. And that's currently, at least on my charts anyway, 162.75, give or take. We're talking about a multi-$100 name here that's moved ridiculous amounts. Look, they've got a good catalyst. It's a legitimate catalyst. It's a phase 3, positive phase 3 trial that was well received by the market. Obviously, it wouldn't be up 200% if it wasn't. But price action is price action, baby, and that's what we're here for. So I'm going to be looking out here for hold off VWAP. If we get that, I will get in again on this one. We'll see exactly what we get. We won't get upset. Shout out to my man Neil. But that is the one that I'm going to keep my eye out. Obviously, looking at ELWS as well, as it's halted at 783. It looks like this one will be a 10 minutes or more halt. This one has been a multiple halter, both to the downside and the upside. As I see it, though, this will be the first 10-minute halt on the day, if not more. So there's that one. And then last but not least here, BTQ. Look, I had a good trade on it, but the lower highs is still intact. And that sucks, because I'm not going to get in if we continue to put lower highs. That's not the move. I need something right above, 1330. If this candle is to drop back down to VWAP and we're making another attempt at that level. And then last but not least, Quadruple C. Here we go, VWAP. This could be an entry for me here on Quadruple C at around 255, give or take. I'm going to be watching this one here. Not up big, 16.5, Joey.
Beautiful stuff there. So I was just trying to re-listen to that. I think that was awesome.
You at?
Yeah. It's
fantastic.
Yeah, it is great stuff. I like that you're calling that out there, Los Pollos. Good look there on Tesla. Bang. Let's see what we got going on there. I think we're going to get a good opportunity to get involved in this name via TSLL. So yeah, let's rock and roll. We have our risk profile defined. There goes Tesla starting to grind higher right at VWAP. We want to get in before it's too late. Or I don't think it's going to be too late, but it's too late. It's too late. Who sings that one there?
I don't even know.
Oh man, Darren knows for sure. All right, let's get involved here on some TSLL. See if we can get this pop above the volume weighted average price. We have a risk profile defined that is going to be around these lows. Let's pull up the actual derivative in which I am trading. And that is going to be approximately 10 cents of risk. We like that. We'll take that all day, every single day. So yeah, let's cook it up and see if that works. Bitcoin is continuously selling. Just keep that in mind.
So above 110 though, or no?
Pardon me?
Above 110?
Yeah, but not. I don't think for much longer. They're straight. Yeah, as we're heading towards some key support levels. So yeah, we're just holding on to 110
we're below,
right
Joey.
now.
109.875.
There we go.
You're right.
So for not much longer.
You're right.
Yeah, so there it goes. I think we
Joey,
see
can I show you something that I think you might really like, especially in crypto world?
Absolutely.
Have you taken a look at the daily on HUT 8?
No,
Get ready, my friend.
Man.
Get ready, my friend.
That's
Look
crazy.
at this rocket ship over here.
But like, what I don't understand is these guys are a Bitcoin miner as well too. So what is the difference between them and Mara, who I think is like up there in Bitcoin holdings? So with a Bitcoin miner who has more than the majority, why is it underperforming some of its peers?
Price action talks, Joey. I don't know the ins and outs. This is a $5.46 billion market cap. Mara, at the current moment, about 8. So maybe, a little equilibrium coming into focus. But I want to show you how close we are to the COVID highs, Joey. Because we are really close, dude. Not too bad, not too bad. I mean, if you're looking at 80, metric, right, it was almost at 60 yesterday. So the real print there, look to me, is at 75. Because look at that, you couldn't close anything above that. I don't know what's going on with my headset, Joey. I gotta shut this up.
Yeah. Do your thing.
Let me.
I'm talking. Do what you gotta do over there. Yeah. Los Pollos, fantastic call out there on Tesla. We're getting a little bit of a pop on this move here. One thing that we got to keep an eye out on is this downtrend. Right here, but if we get up into 20, we're most definitely going to take some profit. Come on, Joe, take me home. All right, I don't know what that means. Joe laughs like
I've gotten this before. Yeah.
I don't know what that take me home is. Oh, Cliff Curtis, you like that guy? Oh, I know. What other? He's in some movies.
Minnesota trader.
Yeah.
Sharif, I heard you guys talking about who you look like earlier. Actual doppelganger. Cliff Curtis. What do you guys think? I've gotten this one before, and I remember him in that what was that movie where he played a terrorist, where he was dressing up as a cop and he was blowing up places in L.A. Something like that. Yeah. I know him from Training Day, obviously, but I think it's the one before that. I forget what it was, but yeah, I've gotten this one before. I think is this guy Colombian? What is he? What's his background? He's from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, there goes Tesla to the downside. I think the fades are in vogue today, man. We're not getting very much of the longs working for us. So shout out to Katina, man, for getting that done, and Sharif, obviously, and Neil as well. So other than that, my best trades on the day yesterday came in the latter half of the session when it was just me chilling. Katina Man was short, I was short, Obi had a couple of shorts as well too. So let's see if this signal comes into play. Once it covers the majority of its wick, I don't like our chances, and it seems to be doing that right now. So yeah, a little bit tougher of a start for sure, but I mean, we got plenty of risk left, and it ain't nothing. All it takes is two solid trades, and we're rocking and rolling once again. There goes Bitcoin cracking 62.27. Man, IBIT is $10 off of its previous high, which is not good. So yeah, just be cautious of this stuff, man. It's really speculative right now, and it's kind of frustrating because you think it would be forming significantly better, but that's not the case. There goes my stop loss in TSLL. So before I'm death by 1,000 paper cuts, guys, you're not going to see me in too many positions throughout the day. All right, I'm gonna wait for precision, and then I'm gonna hammer some trades potentially extremely heavy. So I'm gonna be doing that. So again, unfortunately, you're not going to see me in these trades, but just think of it as this. Good things come to those who wait, and if we find something potentially well, not only do I get to put on a good trade, I get to display that for you guys. That's my style. Sniper Joe, back in vogue, Sharif.
I like it.
Oh, it's tanking now, Bitcoin. Look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see what happens by the end of the day, because it's done a hell of a job defending that 110 level. But let me be real about it.
Yeah.
I personally. Oh, thank you. Sorry. Yeah. I personally don't mind. Sorry, Fabian. Thank you. It dropping a little bit more.
I want it to.
Yeah. And I do like that because. I haven't really gotten to add as much as I want to. We did get that planned DCA that I put out there that I forgot that I put out that ended up filling, but it ended up being a good thing, Joey. But I don't mind it dropping a bit more, but I need the fundamentals to be sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need to hear the right things from the right players, and right now we're really not, man.
We're not
hearing the right things.
So it's quiet. I mean, with the Genius Act and obviously the Clarity Act, we had that initial pop in the likes of Ethereum and crypto, who trailed it as well, but not as aggressively. But I think at some point you will get that catalyst that comes into play. You get a new wave of the treasuries. And isn't it with the Clarity and the Genius Act, it's not actually implemented for about 120 days after it's passed? That's what I was reading on, 60 to 100 days. So really, you have the banks not taking it into effect in some of these other companies.
You got to get them a runway to get ready.
Exactly. So they're getting ready. They're getting ready for everything. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Who knows what can happen by then?
Here's what I mean when I say I'm not hearing what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I want to hear the central banks punching into BTC.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about all of them. Of course, they're still mostly run by boomers or people Gen X or whatever. And those people are not, the most pro-crypto generation or the most crypto, group of individuals. So I think it's going to take years, quite frankly, before we start hearing about, central banks punching in. But that's who I want to hear holding on to crypto, on their asset reserves. And that's not what we're hearing so far. And we're really not getting much in the way of new buyers. We're getting institutional involvement, which is great, right? But you got to diversify beyond that. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what we get. So
we know that they're slow to adopt these types of things.
So slow.
Extremely slow. So at some point, guys, listen, I'm a crypto bull through and through. I'm a market bull through and through. But what these prices we're currently trading at, I don't want to buy anything up here. It's that simple. And that's just me. You can buy until you're blue in the face. That's you. Me personally, I want to get some of these good names at lower prices. And that's exactly what I'm waiting for. Patience is the name of the game. And I told you, great things come to those who wait. But you also don't want to be too hesitant as well, too. So just be prepared. Look to get aggressive at some points. But the volume is absolutely skyrocketing in Bitcoin right now. Look at this volume really pick up. That is insane, guys. Wow, this doesn't even display how many shares that is, but it's substantially larger than anything we're seeing throughout the day. So I think that we're gonna see this continuous bleeding in Bitcoin, and watch out over the weekend, because we know things can definitely get moving in whatever direction it is headed in, that's for sure.
All right, Joey, we're in ELWS, looking for continuation here. It's going to have to hold 750. That's a current bar low. We've already wet the beak. We're in at 72. We got some in the 80s, looking for more, into 8, showing me 80s right now. So it's got current bar low, I believe, is 745 on the dot. There's 80 right now. I'm also in quadruple C, but I'll get to that one in a second. So I'm watching over here. I need it to hold 7.5. Otherwise, we're out. So here comes 7.5. It looks like it will lose it. There's a buyer at 7.5. He's getting decimated, so I have to flatten out there. There was a huge buyer. Look at the slippage I got on that. That's 30 pennies worth of slippage on ELWS. That's frustrating. And it's going to halt down. So that was an excellent flattening right there, as it was no liquidity. So we did get one beak wetter there into 80s, but we'll still take a hit on this trade. And now we are down halted right at 718. That's just a little bit ahead of that $7 area, which is a psychological area of support. Also happens to be that 10 EMA on the 5. Let's have a look at quadruple C, see what this one is up to. It's got a 4-candle hold up right now at the volume weighted average price, which on my chart is 256. We're in at 59, and we're looking for continuation. This is a one that I don't mind adding into. It's a bit of a slower mover, or maybe I should be careful what I say, because I've said this before, and then, the bottom will just drop off. So what I see with this one is a possibility of moving back into that 2 3/4. We get that, we'll add to the position incrementally. Otherwise, if it loses the volume weighted average price, that's the end of the trade. Simple as that. Not seeing anything else show up in my world other than PRAX maybe starting to put in some higher highs and higher lows. But when you look at the wider time frame, you're still seeing more lower highs. So I'm seeing incrementally here higher lows in this area, but the wider time frame shows the area troughs are all lower than their predecessors. So we'll keep tabs on that. I'm still not going to take off ELWS from the side screen over here because it's still holding above the 10 and VWAP. So to me, it's still tradable. And we'll definitely be looking to execute on it if it is appropriate. So those are the only ones that I've got on right now. I realize IONZ is nearing or close to the day's highs, but I believe we're still restricted from punching into this. Yes, we are. So this one I can't trade, I guess, because maybe it doesn't do enough volume on average. So the risk department always, makes sure that we're all safe over here by that. So we'll keep tabs on that, Joey. Nothing really to update you guys on other than the long at quadruple C, looking for continuation into the 60s.
Beautiful, my friend. All right, let's take a look at some of the volume names here, see if we can get anything in and anything that attracts us from a potential trade standpoint. Crypto always gets punished the most. Yeah, exactly, it does. So the outflows are substantial. It's the market. There's a correlation within the market because it's outpacing from a downward trajectory standpoint. Right now we're probably closer. We were down 12%. We're probably closer down to 13, 14 now at this point. Maybe not that much, but you get what I mean. You see what I'm getting at there. So there's NVTS. This has been on a run for the past couple of sessions. NVDA not doing too much, guys. So starting to head towards some key support levels as well too. We can take a look at this name from a daily, and we're just inside. We're range bound, and it's going to be hard to convince me otherwise. Again, we're still within Friday's range, just trading within that specific area. And you know what? Come Monday, who knows what that's going to bring. But until then, we still have a couple more trading sessions. What's QBTS quantum space starting to come back in a little bit as well too, guys. This is what we want to see. The quantum space slowly start to cool down. Now, as for some of the airlines, what do we got going on there? Mr. Kramer himself says there's a bull market somewhere, and it's our job to find it. So let's look for some specific things. SoFi starting selling Quad U. MU. Damn, this is there it is, man. Really great call out from Katina, man. Sticky Note is hot. Sticky
Note Nation.
Yeah, exactly. Sticky Note Nation, Hydration Nation, Hesitation Nation, and everything along those lines. Now, as for
I heard you make that joke yesterday.
Hesitation Nation?
I heard it.
Yeah, the Hesitation Nation. None of that going on today, Sharif.
Yes,
so, man, the long term is not liking the selling in Bitcoin, but we got to think a little bit more because we're just going to buy that 5%. going right away straight into IBIT. Yeah, exactly. TSM. I'm looking at TSM right now for another additional potential long. I mean, we go 1 for 1 on this name. So if we get indecisions on the lower time frames, we're taking that additional trade there. QuantumScape, what are you doing? Getting absolutely shellacked, getting wrecked there, Sharif, to the downside. So nothing horrible, but coming off of those $18 highs, you want to see those pullbacks. What do you think we can run into? But guess what? Who's a buyer? I am. All right, so we'll get a little bit more of that involved. Ethereum, same thing as Bitcoin. So the selling pressure is most definitely in, and you can see that it's substantially larger than what we're experiencing in the overall market. And this is what I'm talking. It's outpacing it. Look at this volume on the 5-minute time frame start to pick up, and we're not seeing that in the Qs or in the SPY. Now, as for a couple more names, PLTR. Oh, also I messaged in the chat. Sharif, when I do my options activity in the morning, I'm going to have one specific underlying asset with a little bit more detailed information, which I'm going to be calling the call of the day. Oh, you get it? Yeah, the call of the day. Yeah. So coming to as of tomorrow, I'll be starting that. I think it'll be a little bit interesting. So nice, the call of the day is what it'll be.
Those Joey options picks.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be the call of the day. So yeah, there it is. CLF. That's going to be lots of fun there. Let's go, says Carter. I know you love the options activity, and so does I think Lacey in the chat likes it as well too. So let's rock and roll. IWM. Surprisingly so. Look at this name from a daily standpoint. Touched into all-time highs yesterday, but coming off of that 252.5 down to 248 there, Sharif.
All right. ELWS is open, guys. Holding 7, holding the 10 EMA like a glove. Prior bar high is 779. Here comes 62, 64. Do we make prior bar high? Do we breach prior bar high? Let's watch. Watching. Up 108%. Here comes 777. Seller at 71. Generally in the low 70s right now. We're zigging and zagging a little in the low 70s, a little in the low 60s. And actually, we're dropping back into the 50s now. Look at that bid, right back into mid-70s. And there it is. Let's look for the continuation now. Boom, to the high side. Let's see if we can get more into that area. So 7.5 ends the trade. Let's look for continuation into the 90s, showing me mid to high 80s. I need that continuation. Let's go, bro. There it is. Boom. All right. Looking for more. 8. There it is. 4 now. 8's a level. Watching. Seller at 8 generally into that 8 area. 803 is the area I'm seeing rejecting. 803 there. Okay, so now it's 8. Zigging and zagging with the area. Anything under the $0.5 ends the trade. Continuing to watch, guys, looking for continuation, but it's a topping tail candle through 8. So I don't want bamboozlement down into 7.5 and then it clear 8 after that. So we'll continue to watch over here. I'm just packing my patience, not adding to the position. I don't mind adding above 8 if 8 decisively gets cleared as an area of resistance, but this is a lower high. So let's just be real about it, right? We want it to pop up back into 8 area, but this is a lower high from that 883. That is a prior area high. So continuing to watch over here. Nothing for me to do quite yet. Either flatten out below the $0.5 or take profits above 8. That's really what it comes down to. We just flashed the $0.5 there quickly. Still showing 55s, 54s. We're going to have to end it there as it comes into the $0.5, and it gives up the $0.5. So we will give back again on this one. Looking to do a little bit better, man. This EWS trade, holy, I had a lot more shares than I thought I had there. Ooh. That's quite frustrating because I didn't want to get into that many shares. And so we ended up taking a bigger hit than anticipated. So mistake on my part there, but that's all right. We'll set up, again, if it is warranted, 650, 659 is the volume weighted average price. And then you have the breakout area right over here. That is the candle at 10 a.m. I just double checked that. Yes, that's a 10 a.m. candle right there. So 6.5 VWAP as well as a prior breakout area. So be on the lookout for that. Then the other one that I've got on is Quadruple C. It's doing nothing. It's holding VWAP, which isn't bad, but I'm definitely looking for it to move back above the 10 EMA, which is generally at that 261, 262 area, Joey.
Absolutely. Good look at good call outs there, Sharif. Let's pull up our chain and see what we got going on with some of our names here. As for the activity, we were looking at TSM not too long ago. Someone in the chat was telling me we've got to add up our gamma and your open interest. We're not going to get into all of that there, right? We're just going to use these walls, again, to each their own. You have to be able to find a system, and how you construct that is totally up to you. If it makes money, at the end of the day, it's irrelevant how it's acquired, right? So BMNR, Sharif and I were looking at this for a potential breakout. What has BMNR been up to?
Oh, what is it at? I punched into that at 53s.
Yeah, it's not.
Where are we at?
Oh, okay. Oh. It went up to 56 this morning, Sharif.
Yeah.
You're in at 53? Yeah, we're right back at
51?
Yeah. No, we're at 53.
53?
We're just a little bit below it. Yeah.
I'm looking at getting more in.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree
Small
with you
entry
on there.
position, Joey,
Exactly,
but we're going to work into
Listen,
it. That ascending wedge that you show everybody every time.
Yeah, all the time.
Got me
it's a really good look. I mean, I like the space. I'm going to forever, but it's not always going to be in play, right? And when it is, it's our job to take advantage of it. So I'm in some TSM, small size, nice indecision print at the lows. Is it an A++ setup? Absolutely not. We're looking more at like a C, C-, just because of what the overall market's doing, and I don't think that it's going to move. It's definitely going to be heavily correlated. So once again, we'll take another long on it. We'll stick to our stop, and if we take the loss, we take the loss. It'll be an additional paper cut, and then it's time to go with the flow. If you're not finding anything with the longs, you're not getting the potential bounces that you're looking for, maybe it's time to flip the bias and find something that is going to continuously sell. Obviously, we were fortunate enough yesterday to get some of that SPY selling. We had multiple catalysts coming in, and then in the just before the close, we had the imbalances, a heavy sell on NVIDIA, which helped drag the SPY a little bit lower. So again, 370. What's my average price on this one? 301.38. Again, I'm going to give it $1, so another 50 cents or so, and then we're going to get out of Dodge on that trade. Wow, 75 million in Bitcoin just moved from U.S. government wallets. Auction coming on secret reserve building, says Carter. That's fantastic stuff. I'm really curious to how you guys find this stuff out, but that would make a lot of sense. Like, look at this volume step in. Something is going on here that is substantially different than what we're used to seeing on a regular occasion, all right? So just keep that in mind, and thank you very much for keeping us posted on that. Another 30 cents on TSMC, and then we're at it. Well, it's not another one. It might be another loss on that one. So yeah, let's be patient and see what we got going on. Back to our options activity. VOO, this is a beautiful dividend payer right there. Activity is relatively cool. Man, oh man, there it goes to the south side. Yeah, I'm getting out of TSM. It's definitely a short. Yeah, take another loss on that one there, guys. So just slowly dwindling on the risk. So you have to be really, really cautious on what we got going on. Let's go through a couple more names. NVIDIA, we're going to see a lot of volume on this here. 195, 108,000, 200, 120,000 right there. So again, I think those are going to act as potential call walls, and we're going to be struggling to break through those levels, considering buyers don't look like they want to get overly involved in the latest sessions. So yeah, a couple more. IBKR reporting after the bell as well. So nothing crazy from an OI standpoint, 3,500 at that $70 strike price. And as for Amazon, continuously sell. Why? Because we're going to buy it, Sharif.
All right, guys. In ELWS at the third of $1. Took some profits there at 75. Holding a little bit here on this trade. Now, if it comes into my area, we're flattening out. Looking for continuation into 8. We have our profit taker north of 8. But that is obviously predicated upon getting an aggressive bid, a liquidity grab, so to speak. But it's down into the 40s now, into the 50s, zigging and zagging. It's got some lower highs that I need to be on the lookout for. I'm trying to switch to the 5-second chart up top without really taking my eye off the screen over here. Up into the mid-50s we go. Yeah, this one, it's so consolidative. But it's putting in lower highs. Here's what I see. I'm ending it there. And then here, it's going to drop probably. Pop, whatever. And we'll make some back on that one. So happy about that. But are we still negative? Yeah, we're still negative on because we fat fingered a large position initially, which obviously I didn't want to do. But that's trading live for you right there. So we'll be positive on the day, good positive on the day, but we'll give back a little bit here on EWS, and we'll be negative on the name, no doubt. continuing to watch Quadruple C, looking for the higher highs and higher lows. We're certainly getting higher lows. I don't know if we're getting enough volume, though, to kind of move us back into the mid-60s or hot or low 70s there. So we'll keep tabs on that. Back into ELWS. I don't want to take my eye off this because what I'm looking for here is a decisive break of the high of the prior candle. So the prior candle was a candle of indecision. It was a doji candle, closed above the 10 EMA on the 5. It wicked 8, but it lost 8 as quickly as it wicked it. So what I want to see is a clearing of that candle high and a move back up. And here we go again into the mid-50s. Yeah, but we're just not getting that continuation on ELWS. I think I'm seeing what I want to see or what I hope to see here and not what I need to see. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the subjectivity out of it. And if we can get above 810, so the prior bar high, 809. If we get above 810, that's where I'll punch in. So it'll force me to wait for that prior bar high breach. Let's go ahead and put that in. We're going to go at 11s, and we'll give it a bit of an offset, maybe into like 17s or 19s, just based upon the spread of the name. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. But I think we have to go to Dare for happening now, and then Neil has his lesson of the day. Are we doing that or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we'll just let Adara set up for a second. I think something's going on with the mic.
Okay, I'm good to.
She's good to go, or we'll send it back to Adara.
Guys, yeah, crude oil inventories just came in a little bit later than expected. 3.5 to 4 million here for crude oil inventories versus 0.25 million expected. But let's talk about the market, which, again, as we talked about, really selling off starting at 11 a.m. Joe was mentioning this, that this happened yesterday as well. We started at 11 a.m., then we get 4 straight 15-minute candles to the downside on this Nasdaq. But let's talk about one company or stock that just keeps getting catalyst today. It's had now 3. We just got a 3rd. PayPal here having this issue with Paxos, their blockchain partner, accidentally minting $300 trillion worth of stablecoins. Then we also had Coinbase, I guess this is now about an hour ago, announcing Coinbase Business Payments, which is viewed as a negative catalyst for PYPL. Now users are reporting issues with using PayPal's actual product. So really rough look for PYPL today. And I just want to give you guys a little bit of a look of what's to come, happening now, but also happening later. We will have U.S. President Donald Trump making an announcement at 3 p.m. Usually we get some kind of indication as to what said announcement will be. I haven't seen anything, but either way, I'll be covering this for you at 3 p.m., so don't go anywhere, guys. Between this and our new format should be a very exciting show for you all. As we send you over to Neil and his lesson of the day, make sure to like and subscribe. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Sarah Dara. And on days like today, there's always people looking for that bottom to come in, and there's a setup that a lot of people like, the bottoming tail candle to look for a long. Now, I want to give an example here as to what can differentiate between a bottoming tail candle that you like and is worth taking a shot and maybe the one that you don't want. And first things first, obviously, you're catching a falling knife, you know you're going counter trend. There are counter trend trades that can work, but you've got to be very, very careful, have a good set of rules for doing it. So A, what is a bottoming tail candle? Something along the lines of this. There's your body, there's your bottoming tail wick, and the nice consolidation. Another example is this candle at the low of the day. What's the difference between the two? They both look pretty good. Now, there's 2 reasons why this one is better. The first one is it actually happens after it's made the low. So the bottom got put in right here at about 62.3 on IBIT, and then you're already making a higher low. Then it wicks the bottom, closes right back, holding the top. There's even a little consolidation after, which is hold that same level. So you can be long anywhere in here, and you have confirmation that a low has been made, and you've got the bottoming tail, did not break back underneath any of those prior bars. There's a pretty solid long. It never really threatens against you. Even if it does, there was some multiple layers of confirmation that there was some buying starting to take over. Now, the issue with this one is it looked good, right? There's your break of the low, close right back above. But what happens? Next bar opens up and cannot hold this prior bar. Just can't do it. If it holds here, you're probably looking for an entry somewhere in there, but it doesn't happen. That's the difference between looking at something that happens on a single candle and punching long, or waiting for that actual indicator to be indicative of buying and the sellers losing control. So look, I wasn't looking at IBIT here. I was looking at IBIT for a bottom, and I've obviously never entered. And I can give you an example of one where I did enter. I really have to zoom in because LAC has been taking on the chin here, down like 20%. But if we zoom in even further, there's a volume spike, not the biggest one. So I'd only call it like a B trade and not an A trade, but breaks the low, wicks the low, holds the prior, and then breaks back out. So there's an example of something that actually holds up, and I'm waiting for that confirmation to get in. Now, if you wait for the confirmation, maybe that first candle's so big you don't get in there. It just never lets you into the trade. And does it mean it's going to automatically fall through? No. But I want that confirmation if I'm going to go against the grain. The market continues to bleed. On days like this, and we've had it like 3 days in a row now, or however many it is, at some point we've been making these big left turns, or I guess it's a right turn when you actually look at a chart. Overall, like it's a big right turn to the downside. So if you're looking to catch the bottom and it's not at a support level, let's just say you're sort of out in the middle of nowhere and you like those bottoming tails, it's so much easier to wait for confirmation above it. The Qs didn't really give you, that's an example of a candle that you'd be chasing off that setup. I don't love it. If you can get it in here, great. If you can get it there off the same level, great. You don't have to chase it, but you do want confirmation. Like you can, if something is trending up, then you don't necessarily need a million reasons to go long. But if it's trending down, I think you should require more than like one kind of okay idea. Like you should have a couple of things lining up that indicate to you that this is a reason to jump in. If it's not at some kind of massive support level, which in this particular case, like you'd already broken through, or down here, you'd already broken through the support. Like if anything, this was a much better long. There's your bottoming tail. It's at a prior low. It gives you confirmation. This one gives you zero confirmations or reason to be in. And I even typed in the chat, I said, ooh, IBIT's trying to form a bottom here. It just never happened. So you didn't see me say I'm going long because it just never gave you that reason to do so. Be careful going against the grain. You can do it and win. Just make sure you have enough confirmation of that bottom being put in that you can actually take a shot. Just because it looks like it might be a setup doesn't mean you have to execute. There's nothing wrong with hesitating 2-3 times trying to bottom pick. Like I'd rather miss the bottom than lose 8 times trying to find it. That way, at least you're going to be alive and fight another day. Flat is a position, and you don't always have to go against the grain. Let's get this market back to the upside, because I want LAC to go, and I'd love for Bitcoin to go for everybody. Good luck.
I agree.
All right.
I wouldn't mind getting the market back.
We're back.
Uh-oh. This guy, bro. You know what I want? I want the Rizbot laugh. Like,
you want the Rizbot?
Yeah. I want to get that one.
Right,
I want to be able to make them on my own. You know what I mean? Like it's not the most complicated thing because it's like an audio. There's no video with it, right?
Think you don't want to give me that skill because next thing you know, I'm coming in here with like apps.
You're gonna load all of them on there, right?
Oh yeah.
Hey, now I can hear you well. Okay.
Okay, there we go. You're fixed up. You're fixed up there now. All right, that's good.
All right, Joey. Here's the deal. Your boy Bovin is calling out MGX, and other people are calling it out as well. So let's get right to it. MGX. Let's see what we got. Okay. So well off the day high, but let's go into the 5. Go into the 5 over here. Adara, you want something? Okay. All right, so MGX 365. Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there. 365 is the local area high, 395 the day high, up 13.5%, excuse me. 348 VWAP, yeah, $0.50 holding. Look, the volume on it, though. What is the volume on this, man? 2.26 million shares on a $3 name. It's not great. It's not great. This isn't great either. I'm going to keep an eye on it, Bovin. If it continues to run, we'll talk. But the price action right now, a little late for my taste, right? So we'll keep tabs on that. We're still holding, though. Quadruple C. I'm looking for a hold of VWAP and a move back into local area highs, maybe 275. It's holding VWAP, but I just don't want to get caught in a head and shoulders pattern. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then it loses 250, 255. So I've placed my stop in an area where I think I'm able to catch the right price. So we'll keep tabs on that. Archer looking like a good buy, says Trix. Let's have a look at Archer. Saw that was very strong yesterday. I know you guys were talking about it, ACHR. Well, okay, so Archer selling off aggressively today, 5 1/3. Yeah, this could be a good buy. Let's go to the hourly chart. Yeah, you're still getting higher lows, so take a gander at that. Still getting these higher lows throughout. Bit of a double top pattern into 14.5. The most important thing for me is to hold this 200 EMA on the hourly, because that's been basically holding up lately. If it doesn't hold the 200 EMA, I'm looking for a higher low. Today it looks like it's double bottom, at least on the hourly, at 12 1/4, showing 12 1/3 right now, but basically at the day's low. Where's Joby, that piece of crap, doing? Joby's down as well. Let's see, down almost 5% today, down to 1674. JOBY, another, eVTOL name. But Neil did send me this headline from the morning. Let me see if I can load that up, because this is, there's a video. Okay, even better, Neil. Here it is. Let's go ahead and pull that bad boy up. This is on X. So XPEV CEO plan to mass produce flying cars next year. Say more, my friend. So let's see what we got over here.
Mass produce.
Yeah, so look at this, Joey. This is a car. This is an eVTOL in the form of a car. So let's just move it over. There we go. Now we're seeing, and there it is, baby. There is the eVTOL. Dude, this to me is this is the move right here.
That's the future, man.
That's the future. So I don't know if it's going to be in this form factor, Joey, where like the eVTOL is going to be in the back of a van. But yeah, more players getting involved in this. Now, what I want to see, initially, I hate to say it this way, but I want to see military applications. Oh, and the reason I say that is, they're willing to run at a loss, the military, obviously, to buy the latest technology. Whereas, business, it needs to make dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be profitable taking you from point A to point B. Otherwise, I'm not doing it,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Whereas the military can kind of just buy things because it puts them at a competitive advantage over others. So I want to see some military applications, some military contracts. Ideally for eVTOLs, we'll have to see. I haven't personally heard of any. If you guys have, I'd like to hear. Yeah, I'm not talking about them buying from XPeng, obviously. I don't think the U.S. military is going to be buying from a Chinese company. That's not what I mean, obviously. I need proof of concept for the industry, not the player. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah, I want to start the racing league, an eVTOL racing league.
Great.
What can we call it? It'd be like NASCAR F1 there, and get the best eVTOLs in there.
The problem is, so far, is like, you have like such crappy duration and flight like time because you're held back by the batteries.
It'll get better.
It's really it's so dependent on battery technology. You got the electric motors. That's there. We see them all over the EVs.
Yep.
It's just really comes down to making the battery and the airframe as light as possible, and to make them as most energy dense as possible. And I think that's a technical breakthrough that your friends at QuantumScape could possibly. Ceramic tiles, man. I think we're going to Adair.
I looked actually into it to see, have there been any concrete examples here of eVTOL military deals, and there is one that I could find immediately. There might be more, but this is like the immediate thing I saw. This is from over 2 years ago, but Archer Aviation actually entered into U.S. Air Force contracts worth up to $142 million as of July 31st, 2023 for, I guess, representing a landmark investment in eVTOL technology for the military. So that is the only example I could find. There might be more, but I was kind of doing a quick search. So to answer the question, there has sort of been some, at least, representation of interest and investment in this by the military.
Yeah,
like to me, Sharif,
I just wonder why we haven't heard anything for 2 years.
It looks like the Avatar vehicles at those things. You know what I'm talking about?
Joey, I don't care what they look like as long as they work, baby.
They look. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I haven't seen Avatar. I'm not gonna lie. No.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, Neil. I'm not a movie guy, as you probably have suspected so far. I don't know, man.
I don't know. Name a better visually created movie.
Right. Well, I can't vouch for that or not because I've never seen it.
I get heat for not eating pie. Sharif hasn't seen probably one of the most.
I don't see that many movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
The last time I went to a movie theater was 2018.
No way.
Yes. I saw, I think it was Black Panther.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Shout out to
that was the last movie I saw in the theaters. I'm just not a movie guy. I don't really... Hey. I just not a movie guy, man.
That's crazy.
It's not my thing. Neil's I'm gonna get roasted now. Oh, our boy.
No, I'm not. I'm
Oh,
just
boy.
kind of. I'm kind of curious. Like, why don't you go watch the movie? You talk about how great Interstellar is.
It's fantastic.
You saw that in the theater
because it has to do with space.
He likes space.
Oh, okay.
Space. I'm obsessed with space.
But I mean, technically, Avatar is kind of derived from space. They gotta fly to Pandora, which is like
I was about to say.
No, they gotta go far away, man.
Hold on a second.
Hey.
I don't go to movies. I have not seen Avatar. Why did you watch Interstellar? Because I like things with space. That literally makes no sense. Avatar is obviously also in space in a science fiction movie. But I'm going to throw this one out for you.
Okay.
If you really liked Interstellar, and I don't know if you've seen The Martian. If you like The Martian,
I have. I love it.
Okay, so then watch out for Project Hail Mary. So
Writing it
the guy
down.
that wrote The Martian also wrote Project Hail Mary. That should be coming out. I don't think Ryan Gosling's playing the lead character.
Hail Mary.
Think of it like this. It's The Martian meets what's the word? The one with Tom Hanks where he's stranded.
Castaway.
Castaway.
Yeah.
You think
I
The
love
Martian meets Castaway.
That I saw too.
It's a really, really good book. I read it. But I'm going to throw it out there. It makes absolutely no sense that you like space movies, and that's why you didn't watch Avatar.
You want the truth? I didn't choose to watch Interstellar. It was somebody else who wanted to watch it. I watched along. I fell in love with the movie.
Okay, bang, yeah. It's a really great movie. You know what's also fire over here, bang, 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 is Tesla. Finally, we're getting a long cooking up here. Tanner, tell Joe to hit the showers.
Oh, what?
I don't know what that means.
Practice?
Yeah, but it's a hockey practice. I skate around that guy anyways. It doesn't even matter. But there it is, guys. Bang. 1965. We take a little bit off there if we can crack through that. You can see that was once acting as support, currently acting as resistance on TSLL. If we get a little pop there. Why was I long? Let's break it down. Break it down now. Perfect signal, volume supporting it right off of the lows. That's what we were looking for all day, every day, and I'm glad that we got to finally get something cooking up, and we're just chipping away, man, chipping a chair, and that's what we do. It only takes a couple solid ones to get going, and next thing you know, it's just like, boom, red to green.
Isn't that exactly what you said you were going to do?
Yeah, it is exactly
what you said you were going to do.
I have every single intention to do that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, God willing and market willing at the end of the day. Let's see if we can get another one to cook up for this. Guys, I'm curious to enough of our days. We're curious to know how your day is going. I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to put it in there, Sharif. We're going to do I know what you are today, but put in your red or green circles in there, guys. I'm going red. I know you're green on there. Put that red green circle in there, Sharif. Bang. We're going red on that one. Curious to how everyone's session is going. Participate, don't hate, and then at the end of the day, let's see if we can create some solid trading and Tesla starting to cook it up. There we go. Danielle, Dallas, thank you for the love. We got greens everywhere from Darth Trader. Why not? My guy, my favorite name. Why not? From there, yeah, as if there's zero chance that's real.
0%.
Yeah, zero.
Actually, we don't know. We don't know.
It's negative. I put my bottom dollar on it there. But a lot of red in the chat, and that's okay. We got broccoli green from Steven, Michael Lab, Bria Power, slightly red on the day, but don't worry. I have confidence in every single one of you. If you are red on the day, be patient, wait for that primetime opportunity, and I think you'll get a good chance to turn the day around.
Well said, Joey. Well said. Here we go again.
Yeah, it looks good.
Oh, what do we got? Is that the beef?
Yeah.
That looks good, Katina, man. I like, what is that, a little bit of rice?
Yeah.
Looks a little bit of rice with some veggies there. Okay, we can do that. Looks really good.
Bang.
Hopefully it tastes good too. Shout out to Joey. All right, guys, we're taking prints here on Quadruple C. We're waiting next at 70 pennies. It got up to 69, didn't cross. So we're waiting. This one's a bit of a slower mover. We're going to pack our patience on this one. But I want to bring your attention to another one right now, which is IONZ. This one's trending back into the day high. 340 the day high, show me 37s, and most importantly, holding the 10 EMA on the 5, so holding trend. Now, it did have a bit of a dalliance here with it, where it did lose the 10 EMA on a closing basis. I'm talking about that candle at 1020, that 1025, and then the indecision candle would be the last time we closed below the 10 on the day, at least for now. That was at 1030, and it's been all gas, no breaks since that time. IONZ is the one I'm talking about. It's up, I want to say, about 17% on the day. So it's not exactly a rocket ship or anything like that, but one to be on the lookout for. I'm just scanning my top screen to see if there are any new small cap gappers that have weaseled their way onto the scene. I'm seeing over here What is this? Mira Murati? Oh my God. No. ELWS, REE. I'm seeing REE moving. Who are we going to take off here? We're going to take off CRTX. Let's have a look at REE. It's not the best looking chart either, man. It looks like it's a flat top break waiting to happen at 148 to 150. I see an ascending wedge here, higher lows through that 148, 150 area. We'll be on the lookout for that, Joey.
Good stuff, guys. All right, let's hop out of Tesla now. And for some exciting news out of Canada for sophisticated traders on the stream, Beta Pro by Global X Canada, Canada's largest provider of leverage, inverse, and inverse leverage ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs, offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P and TSX 60 semiconductors. And on U.S. Treasuries, even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st to 2025. Plus, the U.S. forward strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance and exposure. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more.
You see crypto, Katina Man pointing out it's at 108, Joey.
Yeah.
It might be time to punch.
No, well, I mean,
here's what I've noticed. Yeah, we do breach a 110, but it's on a wick basis, and then we typically trend back above it. So the money fills might be below that 110.
Yeah.
Who knows? We might be trending back to 100,000.
I think so.
But I'm gonna stick with the trend and what's been happening as of late, which is that 110 area gets defended. On the daily, or because nobody's cutoff time, it seems to be exactly the same. The open and the close for crypto. So where your candle opens and where mine opens really depends on what platform or brokerage we're using, right?
Which is crazy.
So we'll keep tabs on that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, grab some. I'm looking to grab some, too. I want to grab some, but I think it's going to be a little bit lower from here. Grab a little bit more if it continues to sell. So yeah, let's be patient. We're all out of that Tesla trade. We took 20% off, and then the momentum to the downside in the market just really started to pick up. So I think it's time to start looking for some pullbacks and then look for the continuation to the downside, because all these longs have not been working for us. Today we had one good long on TSM. We'll go 1 for 2 on that one, 50% there. We had half decent long here on TSLL, but we just didn't take enough off, only 20%, and then we get stopped out the remaining 80% right there. I don't believe that there's going to be a strong rebound in today's session, and it's the October narrative is, I think, completely out of the water now, Shreve. The first couple of weeks were extremely fun, but it hasn't been the case after that. So, yeah, damn.
I don't mind.
Spooky. Yeah, we all like this,
We're
man.
1 day into the second half. The Katina Man's added into the micron position off 201. Katina Man, I was going to ask you. Yeah, you can show the screen. Katina Man, what do you punch into? You punch into the I bit? He's doing it. He's doing it.
Are you grabbing?
He's logging into the account as we speak right now. He's picking up IBIT. And that's what I want to ask him, what product he's picking up. But Katina Man's involved in some IBIT there.
He's grabbing some IBIT.
Yeah, he's picking up some IBIT, Joey. He's literally logging in as we speak. Bro, you're not getting, well, we haven't seen it below 110 all that often lately, so I think it's a great ad. Shout out to Katina Man. Hope he prints up multiple storms. Here's the deal. We might punch into REE. In fact, we are. So we're going long REE over here. We get the print at 145. Let's go ahead and wait for local area highs into 148, ending the trade at 130. At 140, excuse me. Reason I say that, look at this long consolidative period here where the 140 bid has been holding up. The 140 bid goes, so does my trade. Simple as that. We're throwing in the stop as we speak right now, so we can take the subjectivity out of it. Shout out to Jam Locky. I'm buying VVPR. Say less, my friend. Let's have a look. One that we've been talking a lot about in small cap Gapper world as of late. What did this company actually do, though, bro? Vivo Power International, sustainable energy solutions company focused on electric solutions for customized and fleet applications, battery and microgrid, solar, electric power. So they're just in a whole bunch of sustainable power. Okay, I don't mind that, but I have no issue with sustainable power. But your friend Donald, President Donald Trump, of course, he's not a fan. And we saw the falling out between him and Elon over that exact issue where Elon was trying to tell him that solar is the future, and President Trump was having none of it. So, quite frankly, I don't think it's the best time for these what are they called, alternative energy plays. But what do I know, man? Maybe they catch a bid. Maybe there's mass adoption on an institutional level, and that completely doesn't matter. Whether or not there are economic incentives, regulatory incentives, I should say. So look, VVPR. I don't know what you're seeing here, brother. This is coming obviously from much higher during COVID. Let's look at the COVID highs, of course. You know, we double top there into 240, into 218, but it did 10-to-1 split, so that was probably a different price at the time. You've been locked in a bit of a range. When you look at the weekly here, there's certainly resistance at 10. It doesn't even stay at 10 though. Most of the closing prints are all south of 7. And that takes us all the way back to January of 2023. You don't really get much, if any, closing prints above 7. You get a bunch of wicks that, you know, go in 8, 9, some at 10. But anyway, you've been putting in higher lows since this area low here, and that was, I think, the tariff tantrum. That was March. Actually, that's a little bit before the tariff tantrum. Look, you've been bouncing since that March low when you were trading at around $1, maybe $1.50. Now you're at $4. So I wish you print up multiple storms. It's just not an area that I'm awfully interested at the moment. The Katina man has bought more IBIT. What you get there, Katina man? He got 108. Yeah, we're at 108, 185. So he literally got 108. We're gonna shout him out. Good ad there, Katina man. And obviously, that's for the long term, I'm assuming. Yeah, he gave me the nod. 401k, which we call in this side of the border our RRSP or TFSA, whatever. We have many different ones. All right, we're taking prints here on REE. We got long here for the break into 150. Where are we long, Joe? We were long 145. Oh, baby, it's taken out 150, and that precipitates an out for me, and now we're really squeezing. 155, let me see how many shares I have first before we start getting all crazy. All right, we're gonna take it out there into the high again on REE. Here we go, this is the day high, 157 is said day high. We're posting at 160, and then we're gonna see what comes after that. Joey, just wait for 1 second. Let's see if we get the print. We get the print, now we're good to go.
Oh, you're ready to rock and roll? All right. Did you know that instead of risking your own money, you can trade with someone else's capital? No more fear of losing, no more moving your stop losses too soon, and you actually get enough capital to make it worth your time. So you can aim for big profits, not just a couple of $100 a month. This is the revolution called limited risk trading, and it's powered by Trade the Pool. This is how it works. Join Trade the Pool, hit the profit goal, and keep 70% of the profits. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code. Check the link in the description, and you get 10% off of that bad boy right there. In the corner of my eye, I'm like, oh, what's going on here as the market is starting to bleed aggressively? And this is what I was talking about earlier in the day on Amazon. We were talking about it a little bit. Double top right here, break of that 217 level, and now you're heading towards the whole of the low of the day. And the market is starting to pick up its momentum a little bit here, guys. So keep an eye out on that one. We're going to look for the continuation. If we get any form of pullbacks, I mentioned earlier, not going to see me in too much right now, waiting for that primetime opportunity. Yesterday's session, we bounced off of those lows. Aggressive selling, aggressive selling. So who's to say that won't happen again today? So that's specifically in what I'm looking for there. Now we can run through some of the volume names in our scanner to see if anything's popping up and catching our eye. If there's any usually pop up, if there's any unusual options activity on the call or the put side, we can always take a look at that, run the scan there. But as for this one, RGTI still cooling down, bang, aggressive selling today. I think it's going to be a lot going on. Adair, what do you got?
Duolingo dropping, and as has always kind of been the reason for Duolingo dropping lately, it's because an AI announced some kind of translation product. So this time it's Perplexity saying that they now have a product where you can learn any language on Perplexity, DOUL. I will check on the volume on this. Only 500,000 shares traded on the day, so relatively light. $3 spread, but DUOL dropping as Perplexity announces a language teaching feature. Back to you.
Yeah, one day.
Crazy.
So I had a 90+ day streak on Duolingo, missed 1 day, and then it eliminated the streak. It usually gets 2 days. It says, hey, you can recover it, put it as a widget. I put the app as a widget, boom, flat to zero.
Can I say something to you? The best move I've done so far
is buying.
That, of course, but minus the money that I had to pay, right?
Yeah.
Including chat. with Duo. Joey, I'm constantly between chat and Duo, and you just screenshot and you throw in the screenshot, so it's like you don't even need to copy the words. It's super simple.
That's it.
And then you ask it questions. You're like, hey, how come I had to use this word in this context and I didn't have to use it? And it gives you the full answer. That hot garbage Duolingo gives you none of that. You're just sitting there like, okay, I'm doing this. I have no idea why. And I have no idea what to repeat it in the future.
You know what's funny?
You know what I mean?
Speaking of chat, so what I noticed yesterday, Sharif, is that I was talking to it. I was like, hey, is it NBA preseason or NBA regular season? And it completely lied to me about what was going on. But the thing is, though, the British accent is so convincing that you're like, hey, I believe everything that you have to say. But yeah, guys, no, in all seriousness, let's get right back into these markets and see what we got going on. Relax there, Steve M, my friend. So QUBT continuously selling. Quantum space, boom, pulling back here. This name wasn't participating like the RGTIs and the ION Qs, so keep that in mind. UVXY, what are you up to? I'm assuming you're going to start to climb a little bit higher, bouncing off of those lows, $10 all the way up to 12. What does the intraday price action look like? Well, the volatility is most definitely picking up there, guys. So VIX calls in play on today's session. Hims and hers intraday session selling following the overall market. So if we get any forms of pops, I'm looking to participate to the downside, guys.
All right, Joey, we did it on REE. We took the flat top breakthrough 145. We wet the beak at 169. You know where I'm going to be posting if we're in the 60s. Alas, it did make a 176 high a day, so we don't have the best price. But guess what? It comes back into that 150. I'm buying again. So we're going to pack our patience. We're going to wait for a 150 test, maybe a drop and pop. We'll be looking out for that on REE, keeping my eye on that one. Also keeping my eye on Quadruple C. Looking for that continuation into 275. We got the beak wet a couple of times. This one's, quite anemic in its price action. It's making higher lows, but, putting me to sleep while doing it. So not a good look there. I'm seeing the market absolutely take a dump. Everybody's talking about it right now. We did see this in the afternoon yesterday, and then we did see a strong late afternoon session. We'll see if that comes into play again. But somebody was asking me here real quick about NVIDIA and whether it's going to pop back up. So let's do a little bit TA. I want to call them out. Shout out to Not So Boring. That was his name. So let's look at NVIDIA. Oh, we're right at the 10 EMA, Joey, on the weekly. I don't care about the weekly. Where are we at on daily? Yeah, we're downtrending now for several lower highs, man, on NVDA. We had that big red day on Friday. 1, 2, 3, 5 red days now, Joey, on NVIDIA. 5 red days if we close red today. So let's do a little TA. Let's go to the 5. What's the situation? Okay, so I'd be looking for a bounce in and around 180, maybe a little bit lower than 180. So yesterday's closing print, 179.80. We know that that is awfully close, of course, for a $180 name to that 180 level, right? So I'd be looking for an initial buy area, possibly on NVIDIA from 180 to 179.80. If it gives up that, $0.75, if you want to give it a bit more room, down to the 179.5, have at it. Here comes 180, Joey. NVIDIA really selling off here. We're at the day's low. We keep printing new lows. Here comes 180. We're going to have to watch now. Does it find support at the whole dollar? Wow, that's a flush. It is flushing down. NVIDIA is very weak right now into that 180 level. Look, we're not quite getting into yesterday's closing print. And there's the bounce off, at least for the moment. 180-ish, still dancing right now. I wouldn't be buying here. That's just not my style. I need proof that that level is going to hold up, and that usually means getting a worse price after it changes trend to the high side, of course. So NVIDIA looking to go flat on the day. It was barely green. It's Google and NVIDIA holding on to Greensville for dear life. Google's going to go red any moment. So could NVIDIA at any moment right now with the Mag 7, all except those two already very red on the day. Adair.
I just wanted to check in with you guys and tell you I don't have any news on this. I just checked Truth Social because I know sometimes as we get these Donald Trump posts, we can get a move in the market. He hasn't posted in over an hour. So nothing I can see obvious for this move to the downside, much like what happened yesterday. But either way, keeping an eye here on the news and keep an eye on this market. If I get anything else, I'll keep you guys apprised right away. Back to you.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't worked out since Sunday night.
How do you feel?
And can I say something to you?
Yeah.
I generally, if I'm healthy and I don't work out for one day, the next day I'll have a lot of excessive energy.
Yeah.
And it usually manifests in a negative way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I definitely need to expel that energy. And I'm finding as I'm recovering, is starting to kind of get that.
Accumulate.
I'm a little bit, gung ho. I need to do something, and I don't like that. I don't like feeling like that. It's like being charged out on too much caffeine.
Cool.
You know what I mean? I don't.
All right.
You get what I mean by that, though, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely need to get in a session today, but like it's hard to breathe, Joey.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I've got to be super late.
But once your blood gets flowing,
it opens up.
Yeah,
you're right.
But watch out, because Sharif will be coming through in the gym.
Stop, bro. Don't make me laugh. I'm gonna start talking, man.
No, you, Sharif, and Joseph lay off the creatine. Brother, I will never lay off the creatine. Yeah, this is Sharif right now.
Ram, that's not even nice, bro. I was suffering for 2 days. You're just dunking on me right now.
Dunking.
Get out of here, Ram. Bro, she's ruthless.
Ram, we're gonna do. Ram, you want to do part 2 of the options video one day or what? All right, cool, man. So yeah, good stuff there. Wrestling match. Yeah, I mean, here we go, guys. Let's see something. The market continuously bleeding. Look at the volume step in. This is what we're talking about here. Momentum to the downside is most definitely starting to pick up, and you're going to see that expansion in the average true range as the VIX is starting to climb as well too. What is the VIX? We don't want the DAX. We want the VIX. Pull up the VIX. Oh, we don't want the options chain on the VIX now, does we? Let's see, VIX, come on, pull up. Why is it doing it to me? Oh, there it is. The index, bang. Intraday standpoint, we're in the lows of 20. We're up to 2250, continuing to climb. You are getting a little bit of a bounce in the overall market right now, but I don't think that's anything small potatoes. And this is what I'm talking about. We've literally almost for a week, guys, take this into consideration. We have been trading within this 675 range, within this Friday's candle range all week. And where do I think that we're headed? South of that range. I just don't see anything stepping in, with maybe the exception of earnings. So if the hyperscalers and the big boys, the Mag 7 is what I'm referring to, really come in on surprise and they just blow everything out of the water, that might be able to fuel an additional leg higher. But how much of this is already priced in? And I think that's a major factor that we need to take into consideration. What has the market priced in from a best case scenario? All the way to, hey, CapEx, what are we looking margin-wise? We know Oracle, their forward guide was absolutely ridiculous. The margins are going to struggle on that, so we're going to keep an eye out on those things. Amazon, how much are they going to be affected by the tariffs via China? So there's so many factors that we need to implement into potential trades and new buys. I can't wait for the big boys to report and see what comes after that, Sharif.
All right, Joey. I want to mention something. ELWS has awoken from the bowels of somewhere. And it is halted again to the high side, this time in the 704. It's up 91.33%. Let's take a look at the theoretical auction price, the top, and see what to expect from this monster. I think I took it off the trading screen. We can throw that back on, no worries, no worries. ELWS on the NQ, of course. We're showing a 711 tap. Excuse me. So we'll see what we get over here. 704, the halt level. 1236.18, the halt time. Now we're showing 712. So at least for the moment, the bids are overwhelming, or there's more of a bid imbalance and a sell imbalance right now. So we'll watch to see if this one weasels back up, but it's above VWAP. So meets my criteria here. VWAP, at least on my chart, is around a little bit lower there in 6 2/3, 6 low 60s. That's where I'm seeing VWAP right now with this thing above 7. So I'm gonna be keeping my eye on this one, no question about it. We've had mixed results with it today. I sized in accidentally large, and then we ended up going right on it. So we're gonna look to get back into Positiveville on ELWS. We'll see what this one has to offer. I'm also keeping an eye here on REE. We talked about this one breaking into the highs and coming back down into 150. 150 is the breakout level. So I want to see if it's going to be support this time around. It was certainly resistance, and it was resistance multiple times on the day. Here comes 157. Now, I don't know if we get that 150 drop. I may have to front run it. 155, 154. In fact, right now, it's already finding a bid here in the high 50s, moving back into the low 60s. So I'm going to be keeping my eye right now on RWE to see if we can get something in on that. And then Bovin, SOND, getting volume. Let's have a look at SOND. See what that one is doing. Did you guys take the NVIDIA long off 180? Because it gave you like 60 pennies.
Gore
literally
said, I'm long off of 180 on NVIDIA.
Well, that's what we were talking about, right?
Bang.
Let's look at SOND, though. Joey, see what this one's up to. Okay, Bovin. So this one was running in the aftermarket yesterday at about 5 to 5. The breakout time came at 4:55. And the aftermarket high, not the pre-market high, but they're very similar, 240. The actual pre-market high from this morning, and I'm just putting out there for reference, I don't think I'm going to be basing my off that level, is $2. So we're certainly below the aftermarket high from yesterday. We're below the pre-market high, and we're just barely trying to squeeze our head above the volume weighted average price and that 150 level, and we're already being met, I should say, with resistance. But I've seen this story before where I count these ones out and they end up running. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. Keep me apprised, Bovin. If this one starts running, I'd like to know. In fact, I'm going to throw an alert at 180. That way I'll kind of have a bit of advance notice if it moves into 2. And that's kind of what I'm thinking there. So pack in my patience on that one. Still watching REE. Keeping an eye on ELWS. We mentioned this one halted at 1236.18. It is currently 1240.18. So we've got one more minute if it's going to be a 5-minute halt, and I'll submit to you, we've had multiple 10-minute halts on ELWS on the day. So by no means is it guaranteed to be 5. We'll see if it ends up opening in about a minute, less than. The tap now showing 726, so it's about 22 pennies higher than the halt level, which is 704. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this one. Let's look to exactly what time it is right now, 45. So we still have about 30 seconds or so, Joey, before this one could open up. And that will give me an opportunity to throw some orders here on REE. I'm going to be waiting. Look, I'm going to wait for a money fill at 53. Come on, man. We get the fill, we get the fill. We don't. That's fine. So let's move back now to ELWS. We've got about 10 seconds now until ELWS might open. If it's going to be a 5-minute halt, the tap dropped to 712, bumping back up to 720. So it's not at the high there. There we are, open now on ELWS, holding the fifth of a dollar, trying to hold 7. Let's see if this one can hold 7. It's holding 7, Joey. It's making a move, possibly into the $0.50 here. Nope, losing 7. VWAP at 660. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this one, the best trade's behind it. Let's see, though. I could be wrong, especially if we get back above 7.5. ELWS, keeping an eye on that one, Joseph.
All right, cool. Good stuff there. All right, we're looking across the board, guys. ORCL getting a little bounce off of the lows. Tesla, once again, another bounce. But how sustained are these moves going to be? I don't know. I'm looking to fade. So if we get these strong pops, I think there could be some good, solid opportunities. Amazon was a high of 218.70 on the session, and then now we traded to a low of around 213.93. Green Day turned into red, says loss. Joseph said went long again. AMD, says Katina Man, 234.10. Let's go, rock and roll on that one. Let's see if we get that same bounce in the market then, which we experienced yesterday. But yeah, Joseph Schmo, as to what you had to say, brother, I would have told you that for free at the end of the day. I also didn't trade half of those names. So yeah, I mean, congratulations on paying attention there, my friend. Anyways, yeah, so Amazon, I don't know what's going on with that one. We're going through some of these names. IREN, selling off aggressively as well, too, from $70 all the way to 62. So at the end of the day, like, you got to think, so when the VIX is picking up, essentially we're getting the expansion in price action from an intraday standpoint. So what consistently happens is that when you're going long, the way it is like, okay, we're long the market. There's not much fear in the overall market. You have the ability to have significantly tighter stops. But now that you're getting the expansion within the average true range, you have to give your trades a little bit more room to breathe. Why? Because they're fluctuating more. Instead of it being a $3 ATR, it now goes from $3 to $5.50 or $6, and therefore the range in what you can trade from a daily standpoint is vastly grown. And that's why, for me personally, is that you don't want to tighten your stops in heightened volatility. You actually want to widen them, allowing the stock to breathe and fluctuate a little bit more. So HIMS, and I mean, by all means, I'm trying to do that as well too. So it's just a little bit of a kind of adapting to the current scenarios and the environment around us. Palantir all the way from 185 to 177. That's a flush city right there, Katina man, on Palantir, but that's okay. We like these things. Really? That's the thing. Every single individual, I believe, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I have a good hunch that we like to buy things at lower prices. By no means are we bearish. We're going to continuously be long, and when these names sell off, best believe we're going to be buying a little bit more. RGTZ, Defiance 2X. Oh my God, now we got a 2X leverage ETF on RGTI, Sharif. RGTZ. I saw. That thing's been trading. RGTZ, oh, that's the inverse one. It's an inverse one there, guys, because RGTI is selling on today, and then the RGTZ is up on this session there, guys. All right, we got a special guest today, Adara. She's going to be bringing us an interview.
Who the hell are they?
We're very excited to have in the studio with us today Raheem Bilaloo, who is the founder, CEO, and executive chairman of Pesorama. You can find Pesorama trading as PESO on the TSX Ventures. How are you doing today, Raheem?
I'm great. How are you?
Great, thank you, and happy to be here to talk about this business. So tell us a little bit about your company, Pesorama, and how you guys fit into Mexico's retail landscape.
We are the only true dollar store in Mexico. We operate 28 locations in and around Mexico City. We have 2 stores under construction now, with another 4 that'll go into construction in the next few weeks. So we're looking to grow.
It's very exciting. Let's talk a little bit about your brand specifically. So what experience do you at Pesorama offer to your customers?
We offer bright, airy, well-lit stores, offer 26 different departments, everything from home, garden, baby, toys, cleaning supplies, confectionery, very similar to what you would see in Dollarama here in Canada.
So let's talk a little bit more about the products too, because your stores do feature global brands that are trusted, and then also private label products across a wide array of categories, as you mentioned. So how does your supply chain and your operating model allow you to maintain consistency, competitive pricing, and reliable retail inventory?
We have offices internationally. We do all of our own logistics, all of our own supply chain, managed in Mexico and abroad. We have a third-party distribution center in Mexico City that's about 60,000 square feet. Lots of inventory, and we keep that supply moving all the time. Containers arriving every day.
So can you talk us through your expansion plans for the business, and what infrastructure do you have in place to continue to grow your business and your reach?
Look, we have a solid management team, combined experience north of 75 years in retail. We are well equipped with respect to our distribution center, our management team. We understand the private label market quite well. And we offer value proposition to our customers. 80% of our goods are less than $3 Canadian.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit now about the customer base and the wider, I guess, sector, right, of dollar stores. So how large is the dollar store market in Latin America, and what type of opportunities exist specifically in Mexico for your business?
Look, Mexico is a country of 135 million people. Canada is 37, 38 million people. We have 1,800 Dollaramas here in Canada. So you can just understand, in terms of the sheer population, Mexico is 4 times the size of Canada. There's lots of room for growth, and we really think that we can probably open 500 to 600 stores in the next 5 to 6 years.
The opportunities definitely seem vast, that's for sure. So is there anything else you want our viewers and our audience to know about your company?
Look, follow us, Pesorama, PESO, on the venture. We're growing quickly, and we look forward to just disrupting Mexico's landscape in terms of value proposition retail.
Awesome to hear it. And thanks again here to Raheem Bilaloo, founder, CEO, and executive chairman of Pesorama. And again, you can find them on the TSX Ventures at PESO. Great to have you on the show, Raheem.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Interesting take there, Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You know how much we love that kind of stuff around here.
I
you always hear me yapping about Dollarama and the like. And I don't know. Do you feel like there's the same kind of, I don't want to say stigma, but like I never used to hit the dollar store back in the day. And now it's just like the dollar store is not the dollar store anymore.
No, man.
No, like it actually has brands that you actually like, and it's just for a lot cheaper. So
Colgate and everything.
Everything that like you would get at Shoppers or in Walgreens.
I had no issue, man. To be honest with you, I mean, I'll go there. I'll buy my toothbrushes and everything along those lines from there because it's significantly cheaper. Why? I'm getting the exact same thing. When am I going to go to Shoppers and pay 200 times? But no, in all seriousness, Sharif, we know that the higher end consumer usually isn't that heavily affected. It's the lower end consumer where we start to see things cool down. Names like Pesorama and Dollarama start to see inflows, especially in times of struggle. Canada's high employment rate is 7.1% and probably going to continue to climb. I think so will the volumes in Dollarama and some of these names. I think it's.
And you know what's interesting, Joe, is that typically you would have looked at Walmart as like a discount store of sorts, right? And you would have categorized a certain type of buyer to be more prevalent as a purchaser at Walmart. But what they keep saying is they're seeing a lot more affluent of a client, a customer, shopping at Walmart. And you gotta love that because that's an expansion of your TAM.
Absolutely.
An expansion of your total addressable market. If you weren't hitting those type of customers before, now all of a sudden they're showing up at your store trying to strike a deal. Do you think that that's more to do with the inflation, or is just the consumer becoming more thrifty because they have more access to information about where the cheaper goods are?
I think it's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, right?
Like smart money doesn't want to spend it really that much. I mean, they like the luxury goods, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of the more conservative folks know that you don't need all of these materialistic things. So hey, if I can get the same product for a cheaper price, then by all means am I going to go to that discount store. There's no reason for me to go and get it at the Loblaws or at the Shoppers and let it be substantially more expensive. No, that's not necessarily the case and what I'm looking for. So yeah, there it is, guys. I try to short. I think it's a little bit of both there, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
I tried to short on SPY, not working, tried going with the flow. The signals are, the bottoming signals are in now, and I decided to go long. So that's another loss we're going to take there. So yeah, I think at this point, things aren't rocking and rolling today, so we're going to probably just cool off and shut it down. I know we're probably going to do the news here momentarily.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm willing to
I think the boys are coming back on at 1.
2.
No. I think they're coming on at 1.
Is that changed?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe.
Okay, just double check your thing. That's not what I. That's not what I read there.
Did Brendo say the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong. So
just take over for a sec.
Yeah, they will be back at 2 as per normal. As last time.
All right. So let's get to the news then, baby.
Yeah, Katina. I mean, Assassino. I heard otherwise. So if I'm wrong, I'll be more than happy to be wrong. So.
Is he there? Is Brendo there?
I don't think he's. Yeah, he's there. Yeah, he's there. He's there.
Can you just take over for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I mean, there it is. We're taking the short on the SPY. See if we can get an additional breakdown here. One thing, it may work or it may not.
Oh, you're right. We're good to go.
Too. So we may as well just hop into the news. Because that's going to be it for
All right, I'm just going to show my this position quickly over here. We're still holding quadruple C, and we're testing that same 270 resistance level again. We're holding from 59. It's showing me 69. We just wet the beak at 68. We're waiting for 70s, and ultimately, I'm looking for a move into the high of the day, 279, 280. Who knows where this goes? I didn't get the opportunity, or I lacked conviction to add into that 260 break now, or support. So why do I say 260 was a support? Well, look at the amount of rejections we had at 260, which was got me into it, because I said, look, if I get in here, it's only like 2 pennies or 3 pennies that I've got a risk for an area low. And so it ended up breaking 260. I was lucky enough to be part of the breakout then. More importantly, it comes back in and tests the level. I don't have the compunction to punch back in. That's a mistake on my part. I should have been, if I wasn't ready or if I wasn't looking at it, I should have been putting an alert to let me know it's coming back into a support level in the same way that I do when I'm looking for breakout levels. So I'm looking to do a little bit better next time. I should have certainly been adding into 260. Because look, if it gave up 260, I just get a 259. So it wouldn't really cost me anything. It would cost me a penny per share on the DCA. So an oversight by me. Look to do a little bit better next time. Let's start the news. It's a news-packed day, man. So let's just get right to it. I just want to move this over so that I can see my trading screens. There we go. All right, Assassino, we're ready to go, baby. Let's talk about TSMC posting record Q3 profits on, you guessed it, of course, an AI chip boom. So their Q3 profit, I don't know why they start with profit out in Taiwan. They have a little bit of a different earnings setup than we do in North America. They surged 39% year over year to a record 452.3 billion new Taiwanese dollars, easily beating the 417.7 expected by analysts, with revenue jumping as well. And eye-watering, Joey, 30.3% up to almost $1 trillion new Taiwanese dollars, about 989.9 billion, topping expectations, of course, of the 977, with net income, of course, rising as well. As, well, you better be making money with all that revenue. 13.7% quarter over quarter. Now, with respect to the guide, they raised their full year 2025 revenue growth forecast to the mid 30% range. That's up from around 30%, so about a 5% give or take bump there. And they also increased their CapEx for the rest of the 2025, up from 38 billion. Now they're saying we're going to spend about 40 billion. That's for 25, guys. That's not for 26. Likely to spend more into 26. They're really saying it's the advanced nodes. Everything 7 nanometers and below, that's accounting for 74% of their total wafer revenue, underscoring, the lead in the cutting edge chip production. We've talked about this with Intel as comparing to Taiwan Semi. That 18A, 14A node by Intel kind of compares to about the 3 and the 2 nanometer, if you're looking for Taiwan Semi speak there, Joey. They're also closely monitoring, of course, as we know, U.S. tariff policies as Washington considers new duties on semiconductors, and they offered them, Joey, that kind of 1-to-1 build one semiconductor here versus the amount that you import. So if you import one, you got to build one. They said, no, thank you. And we're just going to stick with the tariff policies.
Okay, I mean, by all means, I think there's enough demand for this name anyway, Sharif. They don't got to comply to all these rules. People need them. NVIDIA needs it. AMD as well, too. We know that they're having capacity issues as well. So, I mean, TSMC been on a phenomenal run as of late from a daily standpoint. We're going to go over to Adara in just 1 second. I want to take a look at the technicals on TSM. And that's going to put us on the daily, climbing higher from those April lows, guys, a substantial 133%. April 7th low to where we're currently opening up at on today's, where we opened up on today's session, 133%. Adara, what do you got for us?
Yeah, what I have here for you guys is PGNY and CYRX. These are both pushing higher as the New York Times report that apparently Donald Trump is set to make an IVF proposal today at the White House. Now, we know there was a scheduled announcement at 3 p.m. As I mentioned earlier, I wasn't sure what the announcement was supposed to be about. This could be it. So New York Times, again, reporting that Trump is going to make a proposal related to IVF today at the White House. CYRX and this one on the screen here, PGNY, on watch with this in mind. Back to you.
Want to comment on TSMC?
And I mean, I think a lot of what I said, I'm going to say on this, I said to Neil yesterday too. I think just how well TSM is doing, and I think if they continue to do well, it's going to continue to make Intel's foundry business kind of look weak sauce in comparison, namely because TSM actually has a foundry business, right? So yeah, I mean, a good look for TSM, probably a bad look for Intel. And again, I wonder kind of how TSM fares as we have ongoing tensions here with the U.S. and China, and also we know China and Taiwan. I think the geopolitical headwinds are very much still existent, but no revenue or profit headwinds right now for TSM, that's for sure.
All right, let's go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like what Adara's point there, because with TSM, we know that Howard Lutnick said, hey, you guys want to build here? I mean, you guys want a part of the American capital? Well, guess what? You're going to have to invest a little bit more in capital, more capital into America, and I think that's going to make Intel's job that much harder.
Yep. All right, let's go on to Salesforce, lifting their long-term outlook and betting the farm, so to speak, on Agentforce AI. So let's talk about it. So they moved up nicely in the aftermarket yesterday. I think it was about 5%, maybe a little bit more in the pre-market. And again, looking at 2030 revenue guidance, again, very, very long dated guides. We're getting used to seeing a lot more of that, especially with Oracle, who's guiding into 2030. So they're guiding their 2030 revenue above 60 billion, beating the analyst estimates of 58.33 billion. The guidance excludes, though, that $8 billion acquisition that they made of Informatica, which is expected to close late next year or early into 2027. No date given quite yet. Management also forecasting about a 10, give or take, a 10% organic annual revenue growth between 2026 and 2030, giving about a 4-year window, saying they're going to increase about 10% annually between that time slot. So, as I mentioned at the top, they're really betting heavily on Agentforce, which is the company's AI-powered custom automation platform. They're looking for it to be a key revenue driver. What's going on over there, Katina, man? All right, so he's long AMD at $214. He's $234. I couldn't say it. He's $4 in the money. That broke trend, Katina, man. So I think that might go. Good luck there, brother. Killer trade for the Katina, man, on AMD. But back to Salesforce. They've just launched this week Agentforce Voice, which enables AI agents to handle customer calls. We're seeing that already with some other platforms. And they're looking, of course, to expand their partnerships with large language models. Case in point, the deals that they're striking with Anthropic and OpenAI, and they're going to integrate those LLMs into their Salesforce products with early enterprise adopters, Joey, being FedEx. We got Pepsi, Pandora, Williams-Sonoma, all, joining to use this integration of LLM as well as with their CRM software. Now, there are concerns that have been risen that AI code generation tools could disrupt these traditional CRM SaaS models, software as a service models. Benioff, CEO, dismissing that, calling the notion that AI writes all software as nonsense. So we'll see how that ends up going, but that's been one of the reasons I would say that CRM's been selling off in the year. Despite the rally, Joey, I think CRM shares were down about 29 or 30%. I'm just going to give you the exact number right now. CRM year-to-date is down 25 1/3%. Do we go green on the year?
With CRM?
Yep.
On the year, I don't know. I don't think so at this point. But I mean, it has broke down trend streak, which is a positive sign. I'm looking to get involved in this name for a potential swing as well too. The one thing that I've mentioned on multiple occasions is that, hey, it's unfortunate that Salesforce has not participated in this AI boom. It's been selling off ever since it previously peaked in December of 24 and has not even came anywhere relatively close to putting in a new all-time high. We're actually putting in lows, down currently 32%, a little bit less than that. I think that there is going to be a good opportunity. Benioff, I like him. He's always guided cautiously. That 2030 outlook is, I think that's kind of out of his nature. I've never seen him do anything like that before. He technically usually doesn't. It's slightly more subdued. But anyways, at the end of the day, there is growth within the company, and Agentforce, I like it. If they can get this going, I think it has potential to continuously grow, and then you're going to see CRM, a name like AMD, maybe start to play catch up.
What I don't understand is if he's going to create these agents, and the agents are going to be specific to tasks, right? I don't know. I'm just giving you any example. Opening up new accounts for existing customers. That may want to add new accounts or whatever. Why can't software developers use coding software, which is exactly the point, and integrate it into their own systems? We already see ChatGPT included agent in ChatGPT 5. And I'm only assuming it's going to get better, not worse. So what is the defensible moat here that this guy has?
I don't know.
It trips me out to think about that because they're such a big company. I don't know, we'll have to see.
You're just saying, why can't people just use their own APIs?
Well, isn't that what people are doing anyway? Look what Fabian's doing all the time. All this stuff Fabian's making, dude.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So,
Adira, how do you see this?
We talked about this last week. I know Joe was saying, Mark Benioff should provide more lofty guidance. And my opinion is, I would be way more impressed if you guide really cautiously and then you give me some crazy number. I don't know. I think that is always going to be more preferred to me because you guys know how I felt about Oracle. I do not trust really lofty guidance years in advance. Now, I will say, at least with Salesforce, this is almost within the realm of reality compared to analyst estimates. So I will give it credit for that. But I don't know. I don't love the idea of guiding so far in advance, so loftily, because I think then you set expectations really high and you get people really excited, at least temporarily in the market. And in the case of Salesforce, you gap up, things are beautiful, things are lovely, and the market opens. People are like, oh, wait, why are we liking this? And it pulls back a little bit, right? Oracle, again, really great example. Now that, not a great earnings report, but they released that guidance, the stock gaps up, and it actually continued buying into the day, which CRM didn't really do today. But I bring up this example because Oracle did come back to reality, much like we have with CRM. So I think maybe traders are trying to be more realistic about this guidance. I don't know. I find that move interesting. But I do want to mention as well, Bright House Financial, BHF. This company reportedly in talks to sell to 6th Street for about $55 a share in a deal that would value the company at $3.1 billion. BHF did move on this, guys. Buyout rumors. Back to you.
Yeah, Shanks, I don't know why you deleted your comment there in the chat, but I agree with what you had to say, because security has a lot to do with it. And I think that that's where maybe they may have a defensible moat in how they integrate security with your CRM and your agents. Yeah, that's a great point. I don't know why you deleted your comment, brother, because that was actually quite apt. Let's go on to the next story, Joey. Hewlett-Packard HPE falls on week 2026 outlook. Let's talk about exactly. Oh, no, I saw it, brother. I saw it. Shout out to Shanks. Good look there. I want to read Darth Trader's comment before we go on to HPE. He says, I work at SFDC. There's a huge economy around consulting, customizing their software. It will be a slower switch over so that they can keep their partners happy. Interesting take. Interesting take there. Thank you for that. It's always nice to get. Thank you, Assassino, for putting that on there. I appreciate that. All right, let's go on to HPE. Shares fell about 7% after hours. I don't know where it's at right now. Let's find out. HPE. Show yourself. 9. Okay, this thing is going to get SSR any time now. 9.94% and bleeding after a disappointing, yeah, you guessed it, full year 2026 forecast. Adjusted EPS, they're projecting adjusted EPS to be 220 to 240. That's, versus the analyst expectations of 240. So the high end of the range meets expectations, but the midpoint does not. Revenue growth, they're guiding about 5 to 10%. That sharply missed the 17% expected by the street. And so they're outlining, HPE, there it is, that a new strategic priorities roadmap is to design strength and strengthen their long-term profitability. Some of the planning includes here expanding into networking and AI infrastructure to leverage that JNPR, Juniper acquisition that they made not that long ago. They also want to target enterprise and sovereign AI clients and drive margin improvement over revenue expansion as part of its new chapter. When we see that dichotomy, right? Do we expand the top line number and increase revenue at the expense of profitability, or have we capped in terms, or not capped, but the growth phase of the company's kind of coming to an end, and it's time now to focus on profitability? I think that's something that, CEOs and management always have to struggle with, especially when you've been in a growth phase for a long time. So we'll have to see what HPE did. I'm not saying HPE is a growth stock, but they certainly had a growth tailwind with AIA servers. And the HPE's board approved as well an additional $3 billion in share buybacks, bringing the total planned value to about 3.7. And the company continues to prioritize capital returns, even though top line continues to slow down. I don't know how long they're going to be able to do that for. I think we're going to Adara.
Yeah, keep an eye here on NVIDIA, the information reporting that XAI, of course, owned by Elon Musk, is working on a $20 billion lease-to-own deal for NVIDIA chips. So again, NVIDIA on watch as the information reports that Elon Musk's XAI is working on a $20 billion lease-to-own deal to get some NVIDIA chips. Back to you.
What do you think about this, Joey? Yeah, HPE taking a bit of a hit here.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Usually, Sharif, when we see some layoffs and share buyback, relatively bullish for the stock, but that has not been the case. But again, guys, when we are priced to perfection and you don't come in on the within the analyst expectations, sure enough, you're going to see a 9% hit, roughly, like we're seeing in HPE. This stock has participated on those April low rallies and now starting to come back in a little bit. But once again, guys, when you are priced to perfection and when you guide relatively lower, it's not going to be a good sign for your stock because the market is always forward looking.
Joey, we've just taken out 43 $100 on gold. Yeah. Another new all-time high. Gold is up 2 1/3 today, while Bitcoin getting smacked. It's 43.0820, all-time highs right now. I don't know if it's all-time highs because this is the continuous contract, so filters in with previous contracts as well. I'm not running the actual monthly expiration contract. Adara, how do you see HPE?
Talk about Oracle first, because it's actually moving up here with volume and moving up quite sharply. ORCL pushing higher. Apparently, the company announced that their distributed cloud offering is growing 77% year over year with an average deal size of $67 million. So more Oracle announcements here. ORCL pushing to the upside in a major way. I don't have too much of an opinion here on HPE, truthfully. I mean, at least this guidance is involving, the current, or I guess the next fiscal year. But either way, like I said, if you're going to be a little bit more cautious here with your guidance, then maybe you stun us and maybe you have a beat. But I'd honestly prefer cautious or tepid guidance, especially if you've just had an acquisition or you're trying to fit that into your company. Again, I'd prefer that to massive blowout over the top earnings. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. The layoffs back in March, right? The Juniper acquisition earlier this year. So I think a lot of things from earlier in the year, they're trying to settle out and work out. And it's interesting I wonder how much they planned their restructuring before they finalized the Juniper acquisition, because it seems like they're caught unawares, which I don't really like the look of that, I guess.
Alibaba sees early AI payoff ahead of Singles Day. Let's talk about what Baba's up to. They said their AI investments are actually starting to show what they're calling measurable returns, especially when it comes to their e-commerce operations. So the VP reported actually a 12% increase in advertising ROI, return on investment, specifically though from AI-driven personalization and product recommendations. And we've seen this with Amazon. I don't know if you guys used Amazon, but there's an AI there to actually help you with product recommendations. So AI tools, according to the company, are enhancing the user experience via smarter search, virtual try-ons, and automated targeting for advertisers. And they plan to expand that even further. They want to spend about 380 billion yuan, about $53 billion over the next 3 years on specifically that AI and cloud infrastructure to build across all their platforms. Now, we know they have e-commerce as well as many other divisions, including cloud. Management reiterated that profit margins may have to take a back seat for the moment, at least in the short term, while they prioritize what they're calling historic scale investments specifically into these technologies. Now, what is this Singles Day? If you're not from China, you may not know what it is. It's basically, yes, exactly that, for singles. It's a day to celebrate singles, and it's one of their biggest shopping days of the year, much like our Black Friday, which starts this week. The VP, said AI applications are expected to boost the gross merchandise volume significantly this season. And Joey, they're expecting AI to optimize their pricing, advertising placement, and consumer targeting. So needless to say, they're taking an all-in approach to AI.
Yeah,
I mean, in every way, right?
But it's interesting to see the ROIs on those, because we haven't really seen it in the likes of some of our hyperscalers, all the individuals that are spending big time cash. Yeah. When are you going to start to see a little bit more of a return on investment? All right, guys. In Africa, a new generation of leaders is rising. The woman boss empowers them. We provide the training and mentorship women and girls need to start businesses. Create change and build sustainable futures. We've already impacted over 10,000 lives. Your contribution creates the next opportunity. Scan the QR code, empower the next woman leader today. Now that leads me to kind of obviously with ChatGPT. What was it? Was it Etsy that you're allowed to check out on it now or something along those lines?
I think it was Etsy that was including it in chat.
It's including it, right? So
they switched exchanges. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, they
Etsy
switched.
Did?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
They left the Nasdaq for the NYSE now.
No way.
I understand the point of doing that, but whatever.
But anyways, so you're slowly starting to see the monetization on this end. When are we going to start to see the real effects and the big time ROIs? I think that's going to start to come in from the digital ad revenue with OpenAI, and once they start charging these guys up the wazoo to use the product. But as for Alibaba Group, Sharif, we know that they're building data centers across the globe. They're opening up one in Brazil as well too, so that's a positive look. But what isn't positive is the chart. From that previous high, you're down 18%. So that's almost bear market territory, right? You get down 20%, watch out, you're officially bear market. Now, now. I mean, we know that we're at risk with Alibaba to the overnight trading, but we can't complain. It's been on a monster run, essentially from these lows, 117 all the way up to 192 there, 62%. I think you take that all day. I think Alibaba will be just fine once this tariff talks with the Americans starts to cool down once again, and they come to a conclusion. Hopefully both parties win, and you'll see the stock market go in both directions.
I hope so. All right, Adair, what do you make of this Alibaba all-in on AI push?
I mean, we kind of knew they were going to be in on AI, right? Like, that's not super surprising. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Again, for me, the proof is always in the pudding. I want to see how these singles day sales do. We know that Amazon's Prime week, at least people subscribing heading into Prime, was a little bit more tepid than we were expecting. So yeah, I mean, let's see how these pre-sales go, and let's see what we actually get in terms of revenue and in terms of material interest in this sale, because if you guys know me, I don't want to speculate on what might happen. I want to see what actually does. And yeah, I mean, let's wait and see what happens. I think if the AI growth and push works, and I think it might, because we know the company's been working on that, then maybe this is a record year for them. So yeah, solid look, but I don't want to speculate too much. I also have to let you guys know as well that ORCL, I mentioned this earlier, but Oracle on watch here again, talking about some of their AI infrastructure growth guidance. CoreWeave doing really well on this story too.
What happened?
And yeah, I'm trying to other comments here. White House saying there's going to be a high-level meeting here following the Putin and U.S. Or Putin and Trump call, and that meeting likely to happen next week. So yeah, I mean, with Baba, wait and see.
All right, NIO, well, it did plunge. Now it's actually break even as the GIC files revenue inflation lawsuit. Let's talk about this. So the Singapore's sovereign wealth fund called GIC has sued NIO, alleging the company violated U.S. securities laws. So you can already tell they're suing them in the United States by inflating revenues through misleading accounting practices. As I mentioned, they're filing it in the Southern District of New York. GIC claims here that NIO overstated about $600 million in leased battery revenue through an affiliate, this other company that they fully own called Weineng, which is allegedly controlled but failed to disclose properly. The fund says it suffered tremendous loss after purchasing NIO shares between August 2020 and July 2022. So here's what they are alleging, more detail. So NIO, as I mentioned, operates a battery subscription model, which allows customers to buy the EVs without a battery and then lease one separately. I don't know why they would do that. Maybe it drops the price. Weineng, formed in 2020 by NIO specifically, and some partners like Cattle. This company was designed to purchase the batteries, to purchase lease batteries from NIO. The lawsuit alleges NIO recognized multi-year lease revenues up front instead of gradually over the 7-year subscription model, kind of to inflate their earnings and hide depreciation costs. NIO allegedly installed its own executives at this Weineng company as it used it as a conduit to remove battery assets from its balance sheet, so you wouldn't have that negative on the negative side. The claim was also echoed by a research short seller called Grizzly Research that accused NIO of pulling forward 7 years of revenue via that structure we just spoke about there. So, Joseph, as I mentioned, NIO is back to flat on the day. It is literally 0.0% right now, trading at 682.
Yeah, straight to accounts receivable, Sharif, at the end of the day. So, I mean, here it is, guys, straight right away. But in all reality, you guys are starting to see a little bit of in the morning, you see that full recovery, as Sharif just mentioned. But I'm surprised. I thought you'd get a continuation, considering there's a lawsuit here in the state, obviously in North America. Not too good of a look. I think it's an opposing thing. That's why we're trying to rationalize the market never really works, because you would think this would go to the downside, not completely recover on today's session. In my opinion. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
It doesn't make too much sense. But I mean, we talk about the car space being tough. We zoom out on NIO. We go all the way up here. I don't know if there's any reverse splits in this. I pray that there isn't, or there is. I don't know which one's good for it. But I mean, trading as high as $67 to where we're currently trading at. No, there's nothing. There's nothing.
No,
so
there was never a reverse split.
There's nothing. There's nothing. So there you go.
That's
down
real,
90%. Yeah, it's as real as it gets.
Joey.
It's looking like a marijuana stock right now. Down 90% off of that previous high. That's going to be that COVID run there, guys, on the weekly 67.13 to a low of around $6 to $7 where we're currently.
I have a video on my phone back from 2020 when the Katina Man was trading this thing at like $30. You know what I mean? And he was spinning the money. That's why I have the video on my phone.
And I don't think you ever recover from that, to be honest. I don't know.
You better start selling them damn car. They better be flying to Mars.
You better really, and not be lying on your balance sheet saying that you're going to be receiving more multiple years worth of contracts in the exact same year.
Yeah, it's not a good look. I don't like it.
It's not good accounting practices.
All right, Adara, what do you make of this whole debacle?
It's kind of shady, especially the lack of disclosure. And I think this is another situation here. Obviously, this is a much more prolonged timeline because we get the short seller report in 2022. But if you guys remember with SMCI and even more recently AppLovin, we'd get these short selling reports saying, hey, something's maybe going on. And then you get either an investigation in the case of AppLovin and SMCI, or in this case, a lawsuit being like, hey, something happened. We don't like it. So it's interesting, as much as we make fun of short sellers, there is now, I think, a little bit of evidence to show sometimes they have their eye on something that could be a legitimate headwind for the company going forward. Another example, too, Roblox, we had those concerns being flagged, and then also we've recently had some lawmakers putting up those issues as well. So, I mean, that's more kind of, I think, of an example of how to view these types of stories going forward. But with regards to NIO, here and now, I mean, it's not a good look for the company, and it sounds like there might be enough evidence to maybe make this case. Let's see how far it goes, because we know these cases are usually pretty drawn out, and it might be a while till we hear any more details. I want to let you guys know, too, speaking of details, about 5-6 minutes ago, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that he finished his call with Vladimir Putin. He said that it was a productive call, and as I mentioned earlier in passing, there will be apparently a meeting of high-level advisors next week, led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, at a location yet to be determined.
Also, look at the technicals on BABA there, eh? When Joey was pulling that up, because I heard you in the morning say you were interested. Guys, IVF is absolutely rocketing up here. This is a new small cap gapper. Here we go. It's clearing 150. It's up 93%, and it's insane. So trade it carefully. Many wicks here. Right down, this moves 30, 40 pennies at a time. So it's already a little bit too rich for my blood, but we'll continue to watch it in case it settles down and gives us good technical levels. IVF, midday mover over here separately. This trade that we're continuing to hold, Assassino, we got this at 59. We just went the beak at 74. I'm talking about Quadruple C, high day 79, showing 77s. I'm waiting at 82s. Let's see what we get on Quadruple C. Slow mover, but steady state, higher highs, higher lows. Let's go on to the next story, though. Snowflake and Palantir, they're teaming up on AI data integration. Let's talk, pardon me, a little bit about it. I'm going to read this out, but I'm going to understand very little of what I'm reading, Joey, just like I said on the morning show. So Snow and Palantir have announced what they're calling a strategic partnership to integrate their AI data cloud and their Foundry AIP platform systems together. The collaboration's aim is to help enterprise build AI applications, that's straightforward enough, as well as accelerate data analytics and establish what they're calling trusted interoperable data pipelines. Sounds great, don't know what it means, but it sounds very important. Snowflake, for their part, they're going to embed their AI data cloud directly with Palantir's AIP platform, which is going to connect the enterprise data as well as the operational workflows into AI-driven systems, I'm assuming, for optimization purposes, so they can analyze and see what needs to be changed in order to get better productivity. Customers can use Palantir's Foundry with Snowflake's Iceberg tables, enabling what they're calling, Joey, a bi-directional zero-copy data exchange. The move is expected to reduce friction in deploying intelligent apps and shorten time to value for enterprise AI projects. It really does feel like a lot of back-end sort of B2B stuff that we probably never see in real life.
If you have no idea what is going on, I have absolutely no idea either. But no, in all seriousness, Snowflake, Sharif, cloud provider, we like that one, considering that obviously with CapEx, and then also with Palantir as well too. Palantir, guys, I'm waiting for this earnings report. We know that they're getting government contracts, but one thing is where. And for me, that is going to be its international business. How much is that going to grow? We've seen on their previous report, it was roughly around 3%. But coming with this projected report, we have, I believe it's a Germany deal and a Japan deal as well, too. So I'm curious to see what we get on Palantir. This thing was the hottest stock for an extended period of time. Things don't stay hot forever, but I would not be surprised if Palantir started to pick up its momentum once again.
All right, good tie-up, Adara, or what's your take on this?
I mean, AI, right? AI good, I guess, is the takeaway. I don't understand all of the, the intricacies of the science behind this, but here's the thing. I'm not even fully convinced the market does either. The market hears AI, and the market gets excited. And so I think with that in mind, here's PLTR, which got a really nice move off the open, maybe connected to this. Like, Palantir is a company that's kind of known for announcing deals. Snowflake, as of late, all these tech companies announcing AI and specifically cloud deals. So it seems like, part of the trend, as JC might say, on to the next one. And I guess the next one today is SNOW, but SNOW couldn't even hold that strength. They did sell off pretty much right at the open. So yeah, I mean, I think right now, much like we're seeing with Oracle, but I'm thinking more specifically Salesforce, the market gets really excited about an AI-related catalyst or guidance. They gap up, and then people are like, what are we doing? It comes back down. I think wait to kind of feel it out, wait to see how longer-term players are positioning before you get too hyped about it.
Hey, we're talking about Joey cutting his hair.
I was literally this close to just shaving it all off.
I told him not to, Ram.
Why?
Don't do it.
What if I grow the beard? Grow the beard, and I was literally this. I don't think you should. I was literally standing in front of the mirror with the thing going, and
should we put a poll up?
Yeah, put the poll up. Should we pull up?
Assassino, we're doing it live. Joey cuts his hair. Yes or no? Shaves his head. Sorry, shaves his head.
It's not a haircut.
It's not a haircut. He gets haircuts all the time. I don't think you should, but what do I know?
Everybody's saying get some DHT blockers and all this stuff.
I know you want to do that for charity. We're still going to definitely do that. This guy has got no problem over here.
You see, the thing is, though, the chat would just want me to shave it so they can be like, laugh at me. And, well, don't do that. Don't do it. Anyways, but just they want that just so they can laugh and be like, Joe shaved his head. They don't really care about my well-being and everything.
We'll see. Don't jump to conclusions, Clay.
Yeah.
What did you want to say? I love it. Shout out to Chile Nightmare, man. Yeah. Killing it. All right, let's talk about CoreWeave, Joey, right? So they're boosting GPU data performance. They're launching something called AI object storage, and it is exactly for what I just said, to boost GPU, data performance. There it is. I'm clicking no.
I'm going yes.
I'm going no.
50. Like, these individuals are malicious.
No, guys.
They're malicious. There's no
crazy.
Good
Just let it happen. Let it happen. Nobody said it was binding upon you, right?
Yeah.
You didn't make that obligation. Let's go on with this, Joey. So the product launch here, what are we talking about? CoreWeave, they unveiled something they're calling AI object storage, which is what they're describing to be a fully managed object storage platform, which is purpose-built for AI and high-performance workloads. Great. It's going to enable instant global access to data without egress charges or request fees. I guess there were egress charges and request fees. That I didn't know about. Unlike, of course, traditional cloud storage, which ties data to a single infrastructure, this system allows multi-cloud and hybrid accessibility, which gives developers global reach with zero friction. Let's talk about the cost efficiency and the pricing model for this new product. They introduced 3 automatic usage-based pricing tiers, claiming to offer about 75% lower storage costs versus traditional models. That should get some people interested. We'll see. This allows customers, Joey, to scale their AI training as well as inference workloads while maintaining that predictable cost structure and full transparency. Let's cut the crap.
Yeah.
That's really important because AI inference and AI training costs up a storm. You got to rent the CPUs, the data, and you probably got to pay for the energy depending upon the deal that you're striking. So anything that drops the price makes you more profitable because your margins increase.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I was going to get at. The increase in margins, I think it's going to be a good thing for CoreWeave. That's what you want to see, considering it's extremely CapEx heavy, the cost of energy and everything along those lines within CoreWeave. But this name was an absolute super fire IPO, and even after that, trading from a low of around $30 to all the way up to $190, just a little bit lower than that. And it's recovered substantially stronger than some of the other names. I mean, we're going to compare apples to oranges here, but Webull, it's done nothing essentially. What has Circle been up to? CRCL. I like the data storage personally, considering that I wouldn't be surprised coming the earnings report that you're going to see an increase in CapEx, more AI spend, more data center spend, and everything along those lines. There it is. Oh, man, Raheem.
Oh,
was that Raheem?
Always trips me out because you look like a different person.
I
would not have.
I was like a teenager at that time.
Do you think he looks the same, like in those pictures? I wouldn't have guessed that.
Know?
Personally, no.
I mean, that's stash? That's peach fuzz, man.
Yeah, it's like he's still growing in. Me?
I didn't even know that difference.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
yeah, man.
No, but you look like a different.
I was in Dominican right here. Yeah, we were in Dominican.
I like the dress
over there.
bro.
Yeah. I like this. I think that's my favorite picture right there.
Yeah,
over
that's
there.
the best one. Out of the three.
You guys can't see. Yeah, out of the three. Yeah, for sure. I was partying up a storm there, and I was probably 16 years old. 16 years old in Dominican Republic. The guy had our passports, and he asked us. He's like, "How old are you?" My friend and I were like, "We're 18. We're 18." We're like, "No, we were clearly 16 because it said on our passports." But he just
did he care?
No, he just gave us the band. Yeah, he just gave us the band anyways.
You can see over the bar, you can drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple as that.
That's Dan Gale. You know exactly that's the case. Still am, but obviously. But no, in all seriousness, guys, some of these IPOs still hot. I think CoreWeave is going to be in vogue for the foreseeable future. Even though they got this rotation going on with NVIDIA, that might cause a little bit of trouble, but in the long term, you got to store it somewhere, and I think CoreWeave is going to be one of the prime places. All
right, just before we go to Adair, guys, I'm done my trade on Quadruple C. We take it out at 82s. It's continuing to run. It's up about 27%. Let's see what this one does. Does it get to 3? We'll have to wait and see, but good day today for Quadruple C. All right, Adara, what do you make of this CoreWeave launching this AI object storage?
I mean, yeah, another day, another deal for CoreWeave, I guess. I think it's a good look for CRWV, and I think maybe the reason this IPO has withstood the test of time is, A, I think the sector is in a very hot space, especially with constant AI and data center stories, and B, with CoreWeave, it's also, I guess, the way they're able to constantly put their name in the news. I think the company has done a really good job of social media or not social media, but just keeping themselves and their name in the conversation. The CEO was talking to Jim Cramer last week, so they're doing the interviews. They're doing what's necessary to keep you on their mind. I think it's paying off. Now, the reason CoreWeave had this most recent pop, in case you guys are like, what happened here? I did mention this earlier. I'll mention it again because I want to remind you guys what's happening with this one in ORCL. An executive from Oracle said that AI infrastructure has grown 117% year over year so far in Q1 fiscal 26.
We're gonna
so we're going to wait and see what happened. Q1 fiscal 26, I believe, is also the one they already reported. But either way, nice infrastructure growth for that sector, and they're talking about that, and CoreWeave is pushing higher. So yeah, like, long story short, regardless of the catalyst, I think as long as it sounds positive, CoreWeave will react positively.
Thank you for that. All right, let's go. I like the comment. All right, we got to address this super chat right there. Are we able to pull that up, guys? Because I don't have the tool there, Assassino.
Pull up the old by Lisberto.
But shout out to Lisberto Calvo. There it is. Joe, just get a sick, low drop skin fade. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had
those all the time.
Yeah, I get them all the time. I just haven't gone to the barbershop in a while because I told you I was taking that hair growth stuff, but it's up here, man, and I ain't going out like that. I swear I've seen a couple so I'm like standing on my balcony and I see it's like it's the cul-de-sac and then you got the big spot in the middle, and I'm telling you, I ain't going out like that, man. I'm
like how you say that. I ain't going out like that.
There's no way.
Joker, bro.
No way.
Me, bro.
Listen, I know. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm just being honest. There's no way.
Hey, man, I just talked to you off camera.
I know.
Get in, Neil. Get in. Neil's coming in.
I am going out like that. I don't give a damn. So what? It's all good, and I'm proud of it too. Battle scarred, baby, got the gray.
There you go.
But I do say this: I did the shave of the head bald in COVID. It's great. So I'm gonna slowly work my way into that. I figure like once a summer.
But your daughter doesn't like it, right? Like we talked about this before.
This is the thing. My daughter doesn't love it, so I'm gonna do it like I'll do it once a year and kind of wean back. As she gets older, she's not gonna give a damn.
Exactly.
But she's like, Daddy, I don't like it. I like it when I can rub your head and there's something there.
Love it.
It is what it is. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you like it. If your little girl doesn't like that crap, you ain't gonna do it. Let's be real about that. But it's something, she'll get old enough. She doesn't give a damn. But I think you should do it, Joe. Go for it. And maybe I'll join you. If you do it, I'll do it. How about that?
What is so funny about that?
What the hell? You'll bring that in. That's a sick picture.
It's not even bad.
You think you're making fun of him, Ram?
Yeah, I know. That's literally how.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
You'll bring that in, my boy.
Bang.
Look at this guy,
I can come dressed exactly
You'll maximize that.
I can come and dress exactly like. What did John Juan say?
He said, shave your head, shave your face, 3 piece.
Bang! It's John Von Swords. That's my guy right there. Bang.
I love it.
Like, I can literally come like this tomorrow if I wanted to.
Joey CEO.
Yeah,
that's what that is there.
CEO,
Joey
man.
Management.
Welcome to CW Capital right
Joey
there.
Joey C-Suite.
Yeah, it's Joey C-Suite. CW Capital right there, Katina, man.
My man's looking all dapper. Looking crazy.
Dapper Dan.
All right, let's get to the next one over here. Apple eyes expansion into sports broadcasting. So their services chief, known as Eddie Q, of course, said the company is actually interested in acquiring more sports broadcasting rights, but, big but, only if it can deliver something unique and special. What does that mean? We'll find out in a second. He emphasized, Q that is, that Apple doesn't want to replicate traditional sports coverage. Instead, it aims to reinvent the viewing experience with innovation-driven broadcasts. As we know, Apple TV currently streams Friday Night Baseball as well as has exclusive rights to MLS, Major League Soccer, through the MLS Season Pass. But we know that they just dropped that F1 movie. And they were asked about whether or not they wanted to get the rights for F1. He didn't answer. He declined to confirm whether Apple has brought or is interested in getting broadcast rights for that F1 series. We'll have to see. Q criticized existing broadcast issues like regional blackouts, multiple service subscriptions, travel-based restrictions. I see those all the time. If anybody has DAZN or DAZN, however you say it, or Fubo, and you go to another country where the rights for the sport that you're watching is with a different carrier, it'll tell you, you can't watch it. Doesn't matter if you paid that $20. That $20 is only good in the jurisdiction where they have the rights. So I completely see where Apple's going with that. Because, you know, what am I supposed to do? I'm not going to go get another subscription for the country that I'm in for the few days just to watch sports. And they also want to produce what they're calling feature-rich broadcasts. They want to pioneer it. And they're talking about multi-screen picture-in-picture experiences across all streaming partners. We'll have to wait and see. I was telling Brendo this morning, they have an iPhone on the foul pole for their Friday night games for baseball, Friday Night Baseball.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, if that's as clever as they're going to get, just pack up and go home now. I need to see something a lot better than that.
A lot better than that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole thing in general, though?
I don't know. I never watched the movie F1. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the car movies, but aside from that, it could be interesting. I think it's a tough space. Obviously, it's very, very competitive with the likes of, obviously, Amazon Prime. You got Netflix and all these names. And Sharif, I found what I'm reading here is very interesting. They're not just going for those single games. They're looking to acquire the whole season, essentially, is what I'm getting from this. So, yeah, there's not much I can really say. Friday Night Baseball, Major League Soccer. Again, sports broadcasting on the more platforms. These sports deals have been absolutely phenomenal. Apple getting involved, I'm not surprised. But it's actually surprising that they're looking to spend a little money because they don't do that too often.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
right.
I don't mind this where they can integrate it in their services revenue, which we know, pardon me, is a high margin product. 82, 85% gross margins. It changes from
when
quarter to
Google's
quarter.
paying you $20 billion, then...
Well, yeah, exactly. I don't want to rely much on that anymore, Joey, because, you know, that may be coming to an end with the end of search being like the main way that people get information.
Yeah.
And unless they're going to somehow get...
Well, I mean, you got to think about all the LLM, like you got the apps.
That's what I mean.
on
if they can get a substitute, so instead of search, you're the default LLM, give me 20 billy. I don't know.
Well, I think that's going to be along the lines of Perplexity and ChatGPT. I think they're going to have it at some of the primaries there.
All right, Adara, what do you make of this Apple pushing in a sports headline?
I mean, I don't know. They talk a lot about doing a lot with sports. I don't see a lot of action with sports. I think, you know, to me, this is kind of a nothing burger until we get actual traction. There is no traction right now, right? It's just Eddie Q, you know, cueing us to maybe consider the possibility of Apple sports broadcasting once again. Because even as you mentioned there, Sharif, in the headline, we talked about this pretty recently with regards to F1. So again, this is not new. I suspect this will be a continuing conversation, and I feel like I have very little to offer to it unless we get actual news. But With regards to their streaming bundles, I think this is a real possibility. Earlier today, they announced that they're teaming up with Peacock of NBC to offer a new streaming bundle. And truthfully, if they have that streaming bundle in Canada, I would be interested because we know what show is on NBC, but it's Law & Order. But either way, that's going to be $15 a month. It'll combine Apple TV and Peacock. So the point is, Apple clearly already has some kind of framework for these streaming deals. I want to see if these streaming deals can continue in sports. But yeah, I mean, right now, I think it's not too much to say.
Thank you for that. What do you got, Joey?
Yeah, we got something up here.
All right, man.
New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right, we're waiving fees, trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite, analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trade now. Ready to elevate your trading.
Yes.
Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Regional.
All right. Go on.
Yeah, absolutely. So MLS partnership. So I'm just curious. I'm just reading a little bit more on this.
Sure.
So what are they going to do? Are they going to be looking to pay the league additionally
to get what Amazon does? You saw what they paid for NBA, and it keeps getting more and more every year.
So there you go. You're getting another big name looking to pay for the rights.
And
to
that's
some
what
of the
we've
games.
talked about in the past, like these linear TV networks, like the CBSs, the NBCs, the ABCs, they have to team up with bigger companies like ABC.
They can't afford to.
Exactly, because you've got the Mag 7 competing with you, who have a ton of cash,
unlimited.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and that was the.
We heard about the Paramount Plus as well too. That's increasing. They're striking new deals. They got the UFC deal, putting other sports, NBA on there as well too. So yeah, a lot going on in this sports streaming.
Man. I want to punch into PSKY.
Yeah.
I actually want to punch. Just take a look. PSKY, especially with that buyout. Yeah, it's breaking trend, Joey. I mean, I could pick it up at 15 and a half, somewhere in that area.
Oh, did you see TKO got an upgrade today?
No, it didn't. Did it? Let's have a look. But it's not the actual brand that I wanted to get in with the broadcaster because I have no exposure to these broadcasters or anything like streaming related. I don't have any flakes. I have nothing. Not bad. Yeah, this is a good look, man, for TKO. God dang, bro. The 200 is money.
Man,
money
cash,
on TKO.
Look at TKO.
Lucky I muted that.
So
no, but that's money, dude.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to digress for a second. Shout out to Day Trader. Day Trader LA, BTQ. Yeah, man, we were involved in this one a bunch of times today. Let's load up BTQ before we talk about United Airlines. Here it is. We were involved in this one at about 1260. We wet the beak all the way up to 13 1/3. It's just coming in now to my exit area into 13 1/3. High of the day, breaches 80 momentarily into 85. So let's look at this a little bit on the black charts over here. BTQ, and oops, that's BTW, my bad. BTQ. Let's pull up the 5. That's a great looking daily on BTQ. Jeez Louise. That's not a bad look at all. $10 hold there is absolute money. Let's go to the 5 on that though. Yeah, look, you're certainly breaking the downtrend. I drew this trend line earlier. Let me throw in the ticker, sorry guys, so you guys can follow along. Yeah, you definitely broke trend there. What I'd be looking for is continuation in the high of the day, which I mentioned is 1385. I'd be looking for resistance at 1385, but you clear that. Let's go to 30, see what other area highs we have. So if you break that 1385.14, you're looking certainly at 15 and a half. The next area of resistance, look at that. If you clear 14, which was a base from October 8th, look what the top end of that range is, 15 to 15 and a half. So that gives you about $1 to $1.50 worth of upside. Now, whether you get that all in one day or it ends up being a multi-day runner, we'll wait and see. But as I showed you, the daily chart on this is quite respectable, man. I mean, yeah, you were definitely hanging out here in penny stock territory at 25 pennies, but look what happened in, I want to say mid-December. Since the mid-December low, so the local area highs that we put in a few days ago, you're up 2,700%. So that's definitely a good-looking daily chart there, no doubt about it. Shout out to Broke Hiker, $10 super chat. Thank you. First of all, thanks to the entire team, especially Miss Adara. But I held on my BBAI from $4, sold everything except 30 shares at $9.15. Should I buy more under 8 and divorce my $4. Adara rocking the LSU colors. You're getting love in the chat there, Adara. Do you want to look at the technicals for him?
Yeah, absolutely. BBAI. Should you buy a little bit more?
You're good.
All right, you hopping in? All right. I know you're going out like that, though, Neil. So I was just curious if you're going to hop in there.
Don't make me laugh, bro, please.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness there, broke hiker. I think you can be patient, right, considering the market sell-off. You can always just buy back in. If you do sit on top of this range and the momentum and just the sentiment in the overall market shifts, I think you can get some in. You could buy a little bit more. I have no issues with buying higher because if it's continuously climbing and you average up, you buy some more at the lows as well too. Just slowly allocate. I think BBAI in the long term will be pretty good. You can grab some down at $7. That's already significantly cheaper than what you sold it for. $7.93 is what we're currently trading at. So whatever you're looking to allocate, break that up into 20%, into fifths, 20% here, 20% there, 20% there, and then sure enough, you'll be on your merry way, and by that time, the market has turned around. It doesn't have to be day after day or week after week. It's over an extended period of time, but a little allocation when the market is continuously selling is pretty good. Katina Man bought some IBIT, selling aggressively, sold some Oracle into strength. I think that's actually fantastic to touch on. Buying when there's weakness, when everybody else is panicking, and selling when there's exuberance and everybody else is excited. I think that's absolutely fantastic. But we missed a couple super chats here, Sharif. I want to go over those. No, it's all right. Thomas Kondo said he called me ugly, but Joe, don't be dissing. All right, brother, no problem. What? Yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't affect me. It's just funny. He said that in the chat. He's like, Joe, I know you. He's like, I know I called you ugly, but bro, don't miss my super chat. So anything for you, man. So anything for you. Yeah, I don't know, Thomas Kondo. Thoughts on NKLR? Is the market giving 2008 vibes? I wasn't in the market at that time, but we'll pull up that up for you there, Thomas Kondo. Hopefully it doesn't crash my system, which it seems to be currently doing. So we'll give it a couple more seconds. You want me to look at mine? Yeah, if you don't mind, if you can. Mine just, NKLR, yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Of course, let's put that up, Joey. NKLR, what do we got over here? Oh, okay, so we've got a D-SPAC. So something that was a SPAC here, clearly, Joey. Yeah. Back in 2024, it looks like a D-SPAC maybe on the 3rd of October or the 6th of October. Hard to tell. The way you can tell it's a SPAC is because it hugs $10 for like an excessive period of time. So that's what I'm seeing there. Now, with respect to price action, do you want to give him your take?
Yeah, I'm
on the price action.
Yeah, I'm going to grab another chart here.
Yeah, no worries. So look, looks like a 2191 area high. It's a topping tail candle followed by a subsequent red candle to make a new low. You're coming into important areas over here because this is all very, very early de-SPACing price action. So if you come back into that 1150, I want to say the first day you might have de-SPAC there. If it was 6, it's 12.5 the closing print. So I don't know how you feel about this, but that's a quick move up and a pretty aggressive move low. Let's look at fibs. Let's see what we got in the fibs to see exactly what percentage retracement we're at. So we're just going to start from around 10. We'll take it to the area high. So we're losing 2/3 retracement right here, Joey, below that 38.2. Looks like we're on that way to 23.6, or that about 77% retracement level. That would be around 13. That's pretty close to the 12.5 that I was telling you. 13, 12.5. Now, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I tried it 3 times. I don't know why. I'm like, okay, let's pull it up on this chart. Hopefully it doesn't crash this one. But as from the daily, Sharif, I agree with what you had to say there. You get that aggressive move higher and then equally to the downside. I don't have much more data other than what's being displayed. Obviously, you mentioned that's a SPAC, so $13 all the way up there. At this point, if you have that momentum to the downside, I think watch out for the crack of those key support levels, and then you can head a little bit lower there.
All right, we'll go on to the last one here. United Airlines reporting and lifting their Q4 outlook after a mixed quarter. So let's talk about that mixed quarter. They reported Q3 EPS of about 278, beating the 262 expected by the street, but revenue did miss slightly, all very, very slightly here. 15.23 billion. The street wanted 15.33, so a bit of a miss. Net income as well continued to slip. They made money, but not as much as they did last year, dropping about 1.7% to about $949 million in profit on the quarter. Adjusted profit came in at 909, so I'm not sure what the one-line item there is. Q4 2025, they're guiding now $3 to $3.50 EPS. That's well above the consensus estimate of $2.86. So a good look there for EPS guidance. Revenue on the quarter did rise about 2.6% year over year, even though unit passenger revenue declined 3.3% domestically and 7.1% internationally. So how'd they make money? Probably shored up costs. Not sure exactly how they did it. Didn't get involved too deeply into the story. United expanded flight capacity about 7% year over year in Q3, maintaining that aggressive growth, while their competitors like Delta and American scale back to protect their yields. So they're taking a completely different approach or angle of attack to this whole thing. Let's talk about their premium travel and route expansion. So United, as most airlines are these days, are targeting affluent customers through upgrades to premium seating and international routes with premium cabin revenues. This never seems to surprise me. Up 6% year over year. I mean, the people who have money seem to have more money every year, and they continue to spend it. And you can see that certainly in the airline industry about how much premium cabins continue to grow as a revenue stream. Meanwhile, basic economy sales did grow 4%. Suggesting United is balancing luxury as well as their budget segments effectively. I got to tell you, that's pretty much, I don't want to call it a unicorn, but it's definitely not the industry standard to see premium cabin revenue increase as well as economy. Usually economy is dropping and premiums increase.
Well, I mean, that's what Delta was saying the other day, Sharif, on their earnings report, is that the premium is going to outweigh and surpass what the economy is going to do from a revenue standpoint. Right. It's starting to blow it out of the water. There's consistent increases. We always talk about the higher end consumer tends to be just fine. It's the lower end where you see the heights of inflation, cooling down in travel, et cetera. COVID absolutely blew this whole space out of the water and was non-existent to the point where it did recover. The government bailouts here north of the border, Air Canada getting a bailout here, got my refund on that one, so I'm happy there. So shout out to Air Canada there. But as for those April,
let me ask you something. Yeah. Do you think they make the comfort in economy worse and worse? Little by little, so that they force people to upgrade to at least premium economy. Did you see? Not business or first.
Did you see some of the proposed airplane seats, the standing section, some of them?
I've heard about. But Ryanair wants to do that.
Did you see that they're trying to come with a multi-layered economy? Did you see that? Yes. It's crazy, and it's not even a seat. You're on an angle. It's half standing and half sitting. I saw that. So I mean, what are you gonna charge for that? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. No, but in all seriousness, off of those April lows, guys, we're up 85% in UAL, and usually, as Sharif mentioned, we don't see that type of growth on both ends of it, the premium and the economy sector. So, I mean, it's not too bad of a look. UAL, DAL, who else do we got? We got Love as well, too, Sharif. Southwest Airlines, relatively cool, so not doing too good there. As for DAL, it's subdued, but not too bad. And then Jets is the ETF. How's it been doing altogether? I mean, kind of moving in tandem with what UAL and DL are doing, so not too bad of a look.
All right, just before we go to Dara, IVF is breaking out, guys. Shout out to Bovin in the chat pointing this one out to me. This one was bull flagging. Nice consolidation there on the 5. Generally a 150 or 145 area high. Looks like generally a 125 area low, basically after 120 onwards. And here we go. We're taking out the highs into 160. It's up about 100% give or take. Be on the lookout if you're interested in these small cappers. IVF going. All right, Adara, what do you make of this United Airlines report?
Yeah, I mean, I think with this one, the guidance, obviously, for those quarterly earnings was really good. I think if they can deliver on that, I think it's a great look. And then also, they talked here about how they have a plan with regards to their gross margin and getting that tighter over the next period of time. That's why the stock spiked randomly around 10:38, or I think closer to 10:45 a.m., in case you're wondering why. They had their conference call at 10:30, and they spoke positively about trying to get this margin tighter. Now, what I want to talk about is our friend Scott Kirby. He's the CEO of United Airlines. And you guys talking here about economy air reminded me of a really fun back and forth, and take the word fun how you will, between Scott Kirby and the CEO of Frontier Airlines, a man whose name is Barry Biffle. So basically here, in case you guys do not know, because I think it's a fun piece of lore, like literally less than a month ago, September 17th, Scott Kirby basically made some comments at an airline conference saying that he thinks discount airliners, including Spirit Airlines, are going to go out of business. And he said quite glibly, because he's good at math. That's why he thinks that. Then Barry Biffle fired back at him and said people still need economy airlines. So I think, interesting point either way. But the point I'm trying to make is this conversation we're having is being had by airline CEOs on a wider scale. So I think it's an interesting point to remember, guys. Keep an eye on economy airlines in their future, because there is some discussion even at the CEO level of these large companies about, do they have a future and where do they go from here? So Sharif's point about, catering to these more affluent customers, very much a reality.
All right, thank you very much for that. All right, that ends the news segment. We have about 8 minutes left on the show. So I'm going to take this opportunity to talk a little bit here, Joey. So you know what, we back in April, I took about 5 days off. During those 5 days, I built a home gym, right? To varying degrees of success. I needed a little bit of assistance from the old man. But I've had two independent towers as my squat rack. So I use it for everything. I use it for benching, squatting, lunging, deadlifting, everything, right? But I've lacked one specific tool. I've got the adjustable both legs dumbbells. I've got a bar. I've got plates. I've got a pull-up bar. I've got a dip bar. I've got a bunch of crap, right? A bench. But I don't have any cables.
Ooh.
Let's show them, Assassino. This is going to be the new one right here. Why do I like this? Let's show it, Joey. Because it takes like no space coming out of the wall. Look how close that is to the wall there. And it can be obviously many different things, as you're able to see over here, where this gentleman is using it as a bench press, a squat rack. She's doing front, good for her. She's got excellent form too, racking it properly there. So I think I'm gonna get one of these. This obviously finishes the gym. So you got the cables.
What? We're gonna have to see the finished product.
We're gonna have to see the finished product. But what reason I like this one, all the other ones, they take up way too much room. They come far too out of the wall. You know what I mean?
How many does it give you the dimensions?
It does. It does. It gives you everything there. So like I measured it, looking at the exact size. It would be perfect for the second bedroom. And then the other one though is a bit better. So this one's 3K. The other one's 5K. The other one has a seated row right here, so it's got 3 different cables. This one's only got 2. So you got these ones on the side, but then the other one has ones in the middle at the top and one's in the middle at the bottom.
Bar there as well too.
So I'm thinking about weaseling this in. This is gonna take a lot of work because I have concrete walls.
Yeah, you're gonna have to concrete drill that.
Drilling concrete is no, bro.
We get that.
I didn't expect that.
You gotta get the right power drill.
I know. That was a learning experience, Joey. I learned. And you got a bunch. Look at this. You can add bands onto that, and you can add plates. So if this stack of weights is not enough, you add the plates on the bottom there to add a little bit more weight.
You already know it's not enough. You're going to be adding those plates.
100%.
So you may as well just add those to the card as well, too.
Straight to jail.
And just buy them right away.
Yeah, so this one is going to get definitely added into the home gym. Can't wait to do that. I need a vacation, obviously, though, to do that because it's going to take a lot of drilling. Sharif, I drill concrete for a living. Tell me, Maxi, brother. I need
you need the hammer
tips.
drill, brother.
Bro, I had to go get special drill bits. I had to get a special drill, the one that like pumps, not just spins. I didn't know all this stuff, man. I mean, it was a learning experience, definitely, but I always want to add a little bit more into the gym wear. That's a nice station setup, and you can work out your whole body functional movement. Absolutely, never, always, ever like your name,
You know where you
dude.
can go? I don't know where you got your last one, but just go to United Rentals.
I got everything off Marketplace, Joey.
Oh, you bought it?
Yeah,
okay, you just bought it. All right, you could have.
I figured out the product that I wanted. And then, as I always do, I stock that product on Marketplace, get the best deal, and then we move on. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not paying $3 grand for that thing. That's crazy.
No, I'm saying go to United Rentals and rent it, and then you just
for the drill.
Yeah, for the drill. Yeah, for the drill. Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But it should be. Hey, you're taking off, brother? What's going on?
No, he's just getting here. He's just getting back.
Okay, he's pumped. I like it.
Yeah, hold on. Tina Man's coming.
I have everything. Just ask me if I'm feeling nice. Is that you, Fabian?
That was me, man.
That was you?
Yeah.
Okay. That was Ram. Of course, I figured that was you because of your hubby.
I thought you were talking about
He's
that.
got all the tools. I appreciate that, Ram.
I hate everything. Just ask me if I'm feeling nice.
I thought Joey is your buddy. Won't he help? Oh.
Yeah, I could set you up there, man. We get everything nice.
We could get BPI to come in too with all his tools, man. He's always talking about all his tools. Yeah, but I definitely want to get that. Here's the funny thing, though. About maybe 8 months ago, they sent an email that the condo gym was
done.
Yeah. So I totally forgot. Yeah. So that was 8 months ago. You think maybe, Joey, they put the drywall up and they were able to kind of put the flooring? No.
You know what's coming?
No.
You know what's coming?
What?
Special assessment, baby.
Oh, special assessment. I'll fight. I'll fight.
That's $5,000.
No,
right
we just
there.
changed 4 elevators. We didn't do a special assessment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you guys have good reserve then.
We have good reserve. Yeah, we have good management, but they're super tight about how they spend the money.
Well, that's good. You want that. You don't want
to
be like just free roaming like some of these other
I just feel like
condos.
sometimes they spend the money on the wrong things, like upgrade things, like the party room. It's hideous. It's just like a bunch of chairs. There's no TVs. There's no stereo systems.
Nothing.
There's nothing. It's just a bunch of chairs for people to throw parties at, but there's like no actual functional utilitarian things inside. So anyway, going to the gym. So I went downstairs to the condo gym. And he's gonna get in a session. Empty, right? Like there's nothing involved. Like what the hell is this? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna rely on anybody.
So once you get that done, all right, you're still going to Good Life, or
of course.
It's done? All
right. The home gym is for the morning sessions.
For morning sessions.
Morning sessions are when I'm feeling a little bit lazy there, Joey.
All right.
So that's what I'm doing there. You saw him like Jerome Powell talking about your tools. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what kind of tools, man?
I do. It's because Powell's always like, we have tools in place for the economy. We have the right tools. And it's actually, it's pretty funny.
Implement the tools that the Fed can use.
Sharif, shout out to Mr. Thumbs Up. Use earplugs or the loud sound of drilling damages your ears. It was actually quite annoying. And because my building is mostly, well, all the walls are concrete, the ones that are weight bearing anyway, it resonates throughout the entire building. So if somebody like 3-4 condos down is drilling into the wall, I'll hear it on my side, which is really annoying. And I think that just speaks to the quality or lack thereof of the build there. And there was like multiple lawsuits against the builder who absconded the jurisdiction and is no longer around. He filed for bankruptcy. So
see you later.
He's absconding, Katina, man. He ran off with doing all the right things to the condo. All right, Mikey, hold on. Wait, Sharif is going to drill into his condo concrete walls. Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can look past that.
Hey, listen,
need to mention
he can't follow all the rules, otherwise he won't be doing much around here.
Everybody drills into the concrete walls. That's what I just finished complaining about. Anybody drilling in that bad boy, it resonates all over the place. All right, let's do a quick market recap, Joseph, before we hand it off to the big boys. We've got a couple of minutes left. It is a very... I don't want to say very, but it is a red day in the market. The NQ is down 1/4 point. Likewise with the ES down 1/2. The Dow is down 1/2 as well. But the Russ, which made new all-time highs yesterday, taking it on the chin and dropping below 25,000, down 1 2/3%. But you see gold there, Katina, man, above 4,300, up 2.5%. Silver having a fantastic day. As Neil mentioned earlier, silver up 3 3/4%. Oil continuing to getting shellacked below 60, dropping 1.5%. Over here, let's look at the Mag 7 as well as Netflix and NVIDIA. Uber and Netflix. Uber down 3%. Netflix below 1,200 again, down 1 1/3. Softy for the names that are down. Amazon and Softy only down 0.5%. Meta's down 1. Apple down 1.1 with Google and NVIDIA, Joey, being the only 2 names in Mag 7 world that are green on the day. And look at that 180 hold on NVIDIA. Shout out to the OG Gorev, who I think did take this trade. We were talking about this earlier. Look at that clean hold off 180, and you got about $2.50 off of that as it worked its way up into 182.5. So the Mag, for the exception of Google and NVIDIA, negative on the day. In terms of microchips, it really is Micron with the best performing day, up 6%. And I was telling Katina, man, because he was involved in the trade earlier, yet another all-time high on Micron as everybody and their mother's cousin is trying to get their hand on HBM before, obviously, they're going to increase prices as demand increases and supply decreases. 206.34, Joey, the high of the day, trading around 203 and a third right now. Great day for Micron. And we've been seeing, I would say, a great couple of weeks for Micron.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been on an absolute monster run. Great recap there, Sharif. And here it is on the VIX. You're getting a spike off of those lows. So you consolidate for some time all the way to 16 bucks, and then you climb up to 24. So volatility is staying within the market. And you can see within a couple of days here, things cooled off, but not substantially. And sure enough, we just ramped things right back up to where we were before, and even north of that. So the fear index is starting to pick up.
No.
But you know it's not.
Hold on, Joey. One more.
Yep.
One more. IVF is breaking out. It's huge right now. Here comes $2. It's up 158%. Shout out to the OG Bovin who called this one out to me. IVF, very strong, guys, going into the close. Send them off, Joey.
Good stuff. All right, man. You know where we're going. We're going to the desk next to us. It's the big boys. It's Neil. It's Sean. And it's also...
Start smashing glasses every time we do that, bro.
The Austin 360,
So good.
baby, the rattlesnake. Let's rock and roll.